Sam, I want to thank you for being on the inaugural pod of Dinner Time Conversations.
Thank you, Asia. Thank you for having me.
Dude, pumped to have you here.
I appreciate it.
Obviously, we just spent an entire weekend.
We did.
Hanging and all that. So I do want to start because I've been following you for. I told you this when we first started to talk. I don't know how long I've been following you. You've just kind of been in like my orbit, but you have a very fascinating story, and I guess a little bit of background on you, and I think maybe the punchline that might be the most like infamous.
Okay.
Is it fair to say that you were the biggest pickup artist in the Gold Coast at some point?
Yeah, in Australia, definitely at some point for sure.
How is that measured?
Well, it's measured by just me just claim to fame. You know what I mean? It's like there's a long time. I think it was like right at the time where, it happened ages ago. But yeah, so a little bit of backstory is that I was a kid not really good at social skills. I was very quiet, very shy. And I was playing professional golf, and then I went on a life-changing journey where I was not good. Every guy thinks they can do three things, right? Thinks they can make money, pick up a woman, and beat someone in a fight. And we know that's not to be the true. The ego talks. And one of the things was I really just stripped that ego away and was like, yo, I'm not good with girls. I suck. I'm terrible. And someone might hear that and they're like, oh, that might be me, or like I would never. You wouldn't be able to pay enough money to get that out of me. But I was someone that was like, okay, drop the ego, and I pretty much I followed a company that really taught social skills under a veil of like getting better with women, because it was a spiritual journey you were going on and you were changing. And I did that for a long time and had this kind of spiritual journey, talked to a lot of girls. And then I became, the quote unquote in 2015, 2016, the biggest pickup artist in Australia. And it was a long time ago. That's 10 years ago now. Yeah. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, you're a vet.
Veteran. I'm an unk now. I actually understood unk doesn't mean uncle. It's like,
what does it mean?
It's like not uncoordinated. It's something else. There's another one. It's not uncle.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I didn't know. I'll be able to link it to you, but it's not uncle. I was like, oh. So.
Well, I want to. There's a huge transformation that happens there that I think a lot of people can relate to.
Yep.
I think at any moment in any guy's life growing up, they've at some point been like, damn, I don't know what to say to like this girl or whatever, but to go and take it to the level that you did to become that has to have come from some kind of like, I want to know where like that origin story was. Like how did that all start for you?
Yeah, so it's like an ever progressing bad situation. Everything starts good and then it gets a little bit bad. That was the high school and everything. But yeah, if you take it from the step by steps, it was basically I was very, very good and social in middle school. You guys got to call it middle school, elementary school. We call it kindergarten to year 6 in Australia. And because I was around girls, and then I got taken to an all-boys Catholic school, and that's where my problem started. So as soon as I got taken away from a co-ed system, in Australia we have a lot of same-sex schools. So I went to an all-boys Catholic school, and that's where it kind of, I wasn't able to talk to anyone and relate to girls. And I had this, great big social network and lots of friends, and then I went to nothing. And so that's where I was competing with other guys, and that's where the downfall started. Lots of bullying, lots of being picked on. Started getting into a sport that was very lonesome, which was golf. So I was playing golf. I was being able to talk to Gladys and Jim at the country club, and I'm like, you would be great for my granddaughter.
Knock a few back with Gladys and Jim.
Oh, I tried. Gladys's granddaughter wasn't there. And so I talked to that, or you go out and you practice for hours and hours, and so you start to really put yourself into a very isolated position. Mm-hmm. You're not talking to different people. You're talking to people way older than you. So when you're talking to someone your age, I was only 15, 16 at the time, you clam up, you don't know what to say, you're freaking out, and now you're building a bad hole for yourself, and it's actually only just going to get worse and worse and worse. Ended up getting a girlfriend, and then we had this bad incident. And that incident was, it was the first time you fell in love, the first time you found it. As a male, it's such an imperative time in your life, a relationship, the first one, or the ones that you're getting to. A lot of guys in America or around the world, they probably have this at a young age, where I was a little bit older. I was about 18, 19, and I had this, and it was with an older woman, and it ended in 3 months, and I thought my whole life was over, and I tried to destroy my life in the meantime, and in the meantime, God stepped in and gave me a kind of second chance, like Lil Wayne's song, Let It All Work Out, and I was given this second chance, and that was finding a company that was teaching this social skills.
Before you jump into that,
Yeah.
because you talked a little bit about this, it got really bad.
It did get really bad,
Like,
yeah.
and I think it's like, again, I think a lot of people can relate to, like, they feel the most ashamed because, again, this is like the three male imperatives,
Yeah.
right? And so I think I want to share that side of the story because
Sure.
it's heavily relatable,
Okay.
and I think there's a lot of people that have probably felt that level of despair.
Okay, yeah, no, interesting. Because for me, it was like I just don't think anyone went that low. I was like, oh well, I'd be the only one that went that low. But yeah, so pretty much at that time, I had the breakup with the girl, and there were some certain things that she did, and I'm not going to blame myself for every single thing. There were some things that she did. We worked across from each other, which is not the best.
Like at a mall.
Yeah, at a
Yeah.
mall. Yeah, I had my shop and she had her shop, and I looked directly at her shop. And after the breakup, after it happened on Christmas Eve, and then we got back together after Christmas. So Christmas was terrible. And then 3 weeks later on my birthday, she broke up with me again.
She knows how to pick them.
Yeah, it was a bad one. And then she started to bring another guy around, make out with him in front of me to get back at me.
During work.
Yeah, doing work. And
Major
then,
HR violation.
that was pretty bad. Yeah. And then the other one we went to, I was telling the boys, we went to a comedy festival, comedy night, and the comedians were, it actually gets worse. I didn't tell you actually the bad thing. Comedians would pick on me, like, oh, you guys a couple? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, no. And you can imagine the comedians like, fucking comedy gold right here. And then that night she's like, oh, I'm turning into a lesbian and it's all your fault. I moved away, stores, I left my store, I left my job, and she moved with me into this other place. I'm like,
She followed you to another.
she followed me.
We didn't talk about this.
And then I was like, I can't escape. And so I started to not be able to sleep, got addicted to a sleeping tablet.
Well, I mean, what were you like? What were you feeling at that time?
I was feeling pretty low. So I was feeling like I just wanted to get some sort of stability, some sort of grounding, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Some sort of where do my feet lie? Who am I? What am I? I'm 18, 19. I don't know anything about life.
How old was she?
She was 25
Oh.
at the time. So a little bit of a difference.
Sam had a little bit of game.
I had a little bit of game
That's
back
so-
boy.
that's
She
so
really picked me. But
Yeah.
looking back at it, she just came out of a relationship. I was the rebound guy. She was gonna have some fun with this, and it was very messy. And I was looking for something. But the original why I went into just prescription pills was sleeping tablets. I just wanted to sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about the girl, ruminating, thinking of the things I could have said, the things I could have done. What did I do better? Just hating myself. And I would take these sleeping tablets, the sleeping tablet called Rest of It, and because I woke up and it made me feel like a truck had hit me in the morning. And that feeling was the first time I felt anything but heartbreak. So I started to like that feeling of it being like just so groggy in the morning.
Yeah.
I just felt like a truck had hit me, and then I started to get addicted to that feeling.
That's probably. I mean, I think that I've never been addicted to something, but I imagine that's what most addiction kind of feel like. That is kind of like the perfect setting for it, right? You want to feel
Yeah.
something else. It's the first time you don't feel like whatever it is that's like consuming your thoughts.
Then I don't think the addiction starts there. I think when it starts to alter your brain chemistry, you're like, I'll take a few more. Oh, it's not working as much. But you're already under the influence of these drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 turns into 2, turns into 3, turns into 5 very quickly. And I don't think the sober you would have made that decision. I think the person on this drug made the decision.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think I don't have an addictive personality. And that's why I don't gamble, unless I'm in Vegas at 2 a.m. and Bellagio, a couple of cocktails.
Is this your photo? The photo on Instagram is you right in front of
Yeah, I don't gamble, but yeah, like the last Instagram photo, hundreds of dollars now.
the entire table looking at you make a big bet all at once.
Go on the Instagram, it's like, yeah, poker, but no, not like that at all. I don't have any sort of vices with food or alcohol or anything else. So when I look back at it, I actually think it's probably one of the, when we're looking back and we'll get into it, greatest thing that I went through with this was this whole experience. And then it ended up to a point where, I went to about 5 pharmacists. I didn't want to be recognized by these 5 pharmacists because, you're a drug addict, you think. And I wouldn't classify myself. I was just a kid that was heartbroken. I was young. I just wanted to feel better and not have replay these memories of these girls. Lucky at that time, Instagram wasn't big or social media wasn't big. Because there's a silver lining to that, which is really, really, really nice.
Why is it good that Instagram wasn't big?
Well, it was like 2012.
Yeah.
It was, once I didn't see her, there was no Instagram stories.
You couldn't go and stalk.
I couldn't see her,
Yeah.
Once you unfriend someone from Facebook at the time, or, MSN Messenger wasn't popular at the time, it was basically Facebook.
Yeah.
You didn't see the person anymore. And, but I remember driving home. I'd drive home very close to her house, and I would watch. She had this. Something funny? Like you get an ex-girlfriend or something like that, and then now you automatically hate that car that she used to drive. She had this Ford, and it was a certain color. I won't think. And I'm just like, it's a Ford. You guys have them here.
There's a crazy parallel here, by the way, about. We'll probably talk about it in a minute, but the reticular activating system, where it's like she's all you're thinking about, but she's literally at work with you. She's also right next to your house, and she's driving her car next to you on the freeway.
I saw her once driving. I was like,
doing something nefarious with a boy.
No, she was just, I know. I saw that, yeah. I can even remember the guy's name. It was imprinted on my mind as an 18-year-old. I wish I couldn't, but it's funny as anytime I meet a guy with that name, I'm just like, oh. So years later, I'm just like, oh no. The guys can feel that. That's probably what they relate to. They're the exact same thing. I felt the exact same.
Everyone remembers that first heartbreak.
It cuts the deepest, right?
Yeah. Just how the first, because that's now the foundation of where everything is being based on. Which I think, this is probably
100%.
how you got into
huge. And then it was John Legend and Coldplay on repeat.
Oh yeah, it's
Trent Reznor, Johnny Cash, I hurt myself. To all these all shit, right? Yeah. Anyways, long story short, I ended up, I was about to end it all, bottle of water. And then I ended up
50. How many tablets?
Yeah, about 50 tablets. Put them there. I wasn't thinking correctly. It was just a spur of the moment thing, I think. And I was like, let me go on YouTube. YouTube gave me a little bit of hope, just in life.
Were you watching anything? Because so before this, right? I have to imagine that you're feeling so bad, and so in that time when you're sitting there and you're ruminating, you're thinking about what I could have said, what I could have done. Are you looking for answers anywhere, even before that, or
a little bit? Yeah, it would be dumb if I didn't do that. Yeah, I was looking on YouTube. YouTube was the big thing. YouTube was the platform that you found answers.
Yeah.
And I was searching and just nothing really resonated. And then as I'm about to end it all, go on the bed, and after taking these tablets, I don't know what the hell would happen. Horrible. Looking back at a horrible situation I would have put a lot of people in. Despicable behavior as a young kid. And I stumbled across a video, and it was called 2 Paths to Mastery by Elliot Hulse and Owen Cook, and it was about 40 minutes long. And I looked at it, and I watched it all, and a couple of minutes in, I put all the pills in the bin, and I continued for the next 48 hours to watch this company that I just stumbled across called RSD, and it was a dating company, but it was a dating company where they taught self-development as well. And my whole reality had just been shifted. I was given that catalyst moment, and the timeline shifted from there. And I was like, hope. Wow.
So wait, what was this video about?
That's the funny thing. I've watched this video multiple times. It got taken down, but I've watched it. And people, I think it might be up on Elliot's channel. Elliot Hulse, his name is. There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. I've watched it. I'm like, it's a great video. But nothing to stop a boy from ending his whole. And I was just I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
But it must have hit. When you listen to a song, it's just a song.
Yeah.
And then you might get the car, or you might have the experience, Drake. You might look at the Drake lyrics about Heartbreak, and you're like, nothing. And then you go to Heartbreak, and you're like, Drake is just hitting me, relatable. This is kind of what it is, right?
Yeah.
And it just woke something in me. It lit a match. And this isn't the time where we had hundreds of creators, not like it is now.
Yeah.
You didn't have many. YouTube wasn't this thing that kids wanted to do. We didn't have many people. And so when I stumbled across this, it was wow. Oh, someone that gets me. Someone that gets my situation. Someone that can help me. And that was just the light bulb I needed. That was the dark place that I was in, and that glimmer of light in the distance.
It was. I mean, you've seen this video. They profess like you can get something out of your life if you follow these steps or something. I mean, it's something about mastery, right?
Yeah, it's a video about just bettering yourself.
Yeah.
Each and every day. And for some reason, I think it just hit.
Yeah.
And then I continued to watch. They had thousands of videos online. And then I realized that they had these 7 instructors or 5 instructors that worked for the company. And so I could see all different teachings from all these guys. And there was this one guy, Owen, and he was teaching, how to be able to talk to girls and better your dating life, but in a spiritual, in a self-development way as well as practical.
What does that
stuff.
mean? Like,
so it was a journey of bettering yourself as a man. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't just like, what's this line, how to do this? It was like, you got to start meditating. You got to start looking after your health. You got to start journaling. You got to start really working on, okay, don't just, life's hopeless, don't do anything. You got to go out there. You have the ability to be able to go up and talk to a girl.
Yeah.
You're not stuck. Your social systems that you're operating, your social life, your dating life is not just hopeless. Like, you either have it or you don't. They weren't like that. You can be tall, short, skinny, fat, everything. You have the ability in this time frame to go up and change that.
It's kind of, the early days of the red pill on Reddit. Now I think it's a lot of misogyny probably. I haven't read up on it, but I remember my friend he introduced me to the whole concept of it. A lot of it was similar, where it would just be about, like, as a man, you should go make money. You should go get strong. You should go, do some of these things. And I think those are still prevailing thoughts. But
what year was that?
I think it was right after, maybe it was 2015-ish.
Okay. Well, this was the time that I was popping off. So yeah.
So 100%. Like so a lot of it, I think a lot of people can relate to, at least a lot of the men can relate to the idea of going into the world. You have expectations. There's something biological in you that you're like, I need to do something or whatever. I don't have a purpose or whatever, which is why this hurts so much, because you found something that was right, like feel it in your biology, but then you're kind of, now you're on a planet and you don't know what to do, what direction, whatever. And you start to see, okay, well, there's some people that are saying some stuff that I kind of resonate with. Yes. There was even, I did a direct door-to-door sales, or it was really direct to consumer marketing. It was for Vector Marketing. And have you heard of like Cutco Cutlery?
I know, yeah.
The knives, I did that. Sold like 72 grand worth of stuff. But did it like during high school. And I was just kind of like an aimless kid. And I get popped into this direct sales. My friend recommended me for a job. I get the call. Yep. I remember I was at Home Depot and they're like, your friend had, wants you to come. He referred you for a job. The pay is this. And I was like, wow, oh my gosh, what an opportunity. I go in, do the interview and all that. And you're selling knives. But the focus of that entire program, the first, they get you to a conference and there's all these other people and they're talking about like time management and they're talking about like budgeting and like goal setting and all of these other things. That's like, this is just the vehicle for letting all these other things in your life happen. And that was the first thing that gave me direction. And it's changed my life completely. And from that, I mean, still stuff, the principles of just like waking up early or whatever, it's like all of that, goal setting, any of that topic came from that time. And I just think that that's overall missing in the world, right? Like there's so many guys that are just like lost and they don't know where to start or what to, they look at people online. They're looking at streamers now for like answers and how to behave and how to act. But that resonated here, and it sounds like RSD was versions of that, right? Where it wasn't 100%. Just like, I mean, it's like the mechanism is like, go talk to girls, but it sounds like there's all this other stuff too.
I think a lot of these things have to be packaged like that, because when it's just like, oh, better your life, it's so woo-woo, so out there. Like, what's the system and what are we implementing that's actually going to change as well? I think, along with your point is, it was very incredibly hard for my parents, my mom and dad, to see their son go through this. But it was also me looking back at it. It's like I needed someone outside of them to also kind of validate that.
Are you saying the depressive state or going full in on RSD?
Both.
Yeah.
They were incredibly supportive of it, because they're like, we nearly just lost our son. So anything that he wants.
Did they find that out like right after you were like, hey, I was really close, but it's good now. I'm listening to Owen.
No, they didn't really know that. They actually found that through the content. They found out.
Like when you started making content for the company?
Yeah. So when I went from, they knew I was in a really bad spot.
Yeah.
And it changed. Mm-hmm. So they were very happy.
Yeah.
And they don't know, whatever you were doing, keep doing it, please.
Yeah.
So that was the thing, and it's great because now I'm looking back and I'm looking at my when I have kids, I'm like, oh God, I don't know what I'd do when I go that, but I do know that getting a sort of mentor, some figure outside of your family is really, really good. I didn't have any brothers. I'm a single child, only child. So
Same.
yeah, having anyone outside of it's really helpful.
Yep.
So I definitely did that, and that was very beneficial to what I did. And as I was going back, it's just like, yeah, you got to have this vehicle. You can't just have like, oh yeah, like better your life. But it's got to be like, what are you doing? Is it for fitness?
Yeah.
Is it for girls? And especially with young men, it's like, raging testosterone. You want to get big, fit, and jacked, and meet a lot of pretty girls as well. And then as it evolves and got better, over the last 10 years, it's definitely changed and shifted until, what it is now.
What, the RST specifically?
Well, yeah, just RST and the whole concepts of what I teach and what I really align myself with as well.
Yeah.
And it came from the grounds of that and for the, becoming someone that was very big in the company and ended up actually getting mentored and becoming the assistant for Owen, which was super cool.
The top dog at RST.
Yeah, the top dog at RST for 2 years.
And also, I don't know if we said, but RST stands for Real Social Dynamics
for other people. Real Social Dynamics was a company. So it started from the book The Game. A lot of guys know that, the book The Game by Neil Strauss.
Did you ever meet him in your...
Neil Strauss, never met Neil Strauss. But yeah, they had this character Mystery, Papa and Tyler Durden, and it's all referenced. Back in those days, they had pseudonyms and they had all these weird names and Gambit and Pocket Rocket and whatever.
I mean, this is a total... this is like an entirely different world for most people.
Yeah, 100%.
So, so you started watching YouTube videos.
Yep.
What's the evolution now?
Evolution.
You started watching some and then,
Evolution this is actually a crazy kind of what actually happened, the real truth of it. 3 weeks, I just watched videos. They were like, go out and talk to girls, go out and approach them. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. I just kept watching.
Yeah.
And then 3 weeks in, they had an event. And I was like, sweet, they had an event in Sydney, Australia.
3 weeks after?
3 weeks after. Wow. I'm like,
this is, by the way, divine intervention, like one after another.
It's God orchestrated it, very much so. Like when I look at this, I'm like, this couldn't have been luck. This is directly orchestrated, because we look at where I am right now. So I do that. I go to the event, and I'm early for the event by 5 hours. It starts at like 7, and I'm there at 2 at the front door. I'm that pumped. Funny thing is, 2 hours down, 3 hours before, there was another guy that said he came early. He was pumped too. And I was in, this is the type of person that I was in this. I wasn't healed by anything. I'd only watched 3 weeks of content.
Yeah.
And so I was lying to this dude to get him to like me. I'm like, yeah, I've done all their programs. Yeah, I've been a fan for years and shit like that. Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
I don't know.
Because you're...
I'm just like this insecure kid. I'm like, please like me, right? And I looking back, and he laughs about it. I'm still friends with him, Mark, today. Yep. And he was just... Anyway, so we go to this event, and there's this guy speaking, and it's at this Masonic lodge, and it's just 100-foot ceiling thing. It's weird. It's like
the
opera
piano.
It's super with the organs and stuff. And we have this great... And I'm like, wow. So they had a program, and I bought the program. That was for the next day. And then we walked out, and there was hundreds of people here. And this is where my lie caught up with me. And they're like, all right, man, you've done all the programs. Show us how it's done. And I'd never done an approach in my life, ever. Yeah. And it's not this sleaze. I was just, I was like, oh, man, I put myself in the rock, and I dug myself a grave. And I still remember the very first approach at this hotel. And I was like, okay. So because I didn't want to be disliked so much by these new friends that I'd made, it was more scary to lose these friends that I just made over hours than this girl. I went up and talked to the girl and got her phone number. And I was like, oh, it's yeah. You just gave candy to a kid. I'm like, wow. Okay,
this might be also the most just average thing to some people too, which is it's just funny. But I think it just says, it speaks to the level that you were coming from and getting to, and the evolution of it.
It's the exact same as making your first dollar online.
Yeah,
you're like, you put hours, and I'm like, and I put years into this, and I'm like, oh my God, I just did. And then we went out, and I did it, and then I just got addicted to it, full blown. And I would watch videos from sun up to sundown, I was telling the boys before we knew it was bad, I had my iPhone playing their videos. They had thousands of videos, remember? I had my iPhone playing under the pillow of night, 8 hours of still getting, if I could get 8 hours more, I would. And to the point that I could verbatimly, like there'd be like 8-minute videos and I knew them word for word, the video. And I was writing notes and I was doing everything because for me, it gave me the opportunity of a new hope. The last reality was so bad. And this is the only reason why people change, I believe, when their reality is so bad that trying anything is easier than just staying there.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, let me do it. Heck, what else have I got to do, right?
That's why a lot of people, you have to get to rock bottom to take action. It's like when you're too comfortable. This is true also of when it took me a while to quit my job to go into the entrepreneurship world because it was comfortable. Like on paper, everything was great. I was working remote. I was making multiple six figures, but it just wasn't bad enough. And so I had to like find another way to like hypnotize myself into being, like I'm going to go for something, a bigger goal, and that's going to be more exciting than where I'm at now or whatever. But for most people, like that's good enough. They have to hit the absolute rock bottom to actually change anything.
1,000%. You have to not like that life.
Yeah.
It has to be bad.
Yeah.
Then doing anything where they're like, do this, do that, do the emails, do this, cold outreach. You're like, yeah, no fucking problem. I'll fucking do that any day.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Staying here is the bad shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, 100%.
You mentioned a story about when you were on this, there was like 2 nights you didn't have a home.
Yeah.
So you were just, and then you like hit no money or like $8 in your bank account and you were like, I will do anything. I'm an editor now.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the, I worked for there was a position where, it was in LA homeless. After a very, very bad period. And I was like, I'll do anything. Yeah. I remember I ended up, working for, I got a job with this guy that was an old kind of dating coach as a videographer. And I didn't tell this part of the story. It was for like $1,500. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do whatever you want. Like, and he's like, okay, well, we're shooting this video of me in my car. And he's like, I want you to stand on top of the other car with the gimbal and I'm just going to drive. Because I was like, okay, yeah, like, I'll pop myself through the sunroof.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, about that. Yeah, we don't have that car. So it's like, you have to be on the roof of the other car. So I've got like one leg wrapped around. I got the fucking gimbal. I'm like, for that $1,500, that got me a bed with the girl that I was seeing at the time. And that then got us, we found the guy that had a downtown loft area. And that was what started where I was just like, any job I could try to get, I'm going to try and get a job.
Yeah.
And try anything. And that, I love that hustle about me.
Yeah.
I will do anything. And, other than OnlyFans, which like, obviously like, you got morals and shit. But
and you would make a bag on OnlyFans, Tim.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, I know. It's a hard time to fucking 100%. But yeah, so that was an interesting time. Within life, within anything, within, the making the money online industry, you're going to have that origin story. And that's where you got to really tap into it and really go like, wow. Because you forget. Life moves too quick.
Yeah.
You forget that origin.
Yeah. And also, I have a theory about, people say like as you get older, life moves faster. I don't think it's obviously not the case, right? Life moves the same speed, but what's different is that when you're younger, you have everything is a new experience, right? You go into a new grade, new friends, you go to high school, then you go to college, like everything is a new experience. You probably don't think, 21 to 24 was really, really fast because now you're in the city, like new, but then once you get set in a routine, your brain is literally programmed to stop taking up memory space with stuff that's just, it's like, oh, you're doing the same thing every day. I don't need to remember anything else. And so what I've found is like if you can exercise, I actually did this. If you write down the last like 5 years, just 2020, 2021, 22, whatever, and then write down like what happened, what are the highlights? And it's usually going to be emotional highs and emotional lows.
Yeah.
And so every time you do something that puts you out of your comfort zone or you get really achieve something or a heartbreak or whatever, that you'll find like those are first of all like those flagpole moments. And the more of those that you can do throughout the year, the more of the time's going to slow down for you. Like I was talking to my barber and they were like, January flew by. And I was like, I was in Canada right before January. Then I had this other ski trip and then I had this other thing. And then the business had this thing happen. And now I'm in Miami and I've got this other thing next weekend. January's been a long month for me.
Yeah.
There's constantly new experiences, new things.
New.
Yeah. And so I think it's when you're thinking about like, you know, what do you go like what made those times of your life so impactful? Those are your flagpole moments. Those are your emotional highs, your emotional lows, and those are the things that end up defining you. Those become your memories. Those become the things that actually turn into you.
Mm-hmm. On that, I have a buddy, Hassan, and he said, if you want to slow down time, do more.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. That's exactly right.
And it's a funny thing because it also speeds it up as well.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh my God. But when you realize, like, if you look back at your biggest years, like the biggest transformations with you, and I love to hear about it. It's never when you're like, oh yeah, I was 16 hours a day in my bedroom. Like,
no,
it's always the one you're just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and you know, I think you also need reminders of that as well. And recently, with Ben Bader's passing, that's been a big reminder for me.
Yeah.
I still remember I'll always remember where his tattoo on his left arm, which was like, if not now, when. And I always remember to just keep doing, like, even this weekend that we did, it was just, the backstory of this weekend as well was that I always said to Ben, I was like, we're going to do an event and you're going to speak and it'll be absolutely great. And it was true story.
Yeah.
And with his passing, as soon as it happened and I was able to kind of think slightly clearer, it's like I knew exactly what I had to do.
Yeah.
Which is that. And just the pushing and pushing and pushing of it allowed me to understand. It was like January's felt like a year to me.
Yeah.
Bro, my birthday was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Bro, that felt like fucking like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, what did I do again? I was like, oh yeah, I did that. Or like before that, oh, I remember when that happened. I was like, yo. The crazy thing is, when you do a lot of stuff happens to you as well. Mm-hmm. So it just double compounds.
It's a
what was the big, like, if you look back this year, obviously, but another year has been quick and it's been very fast for you, but also very slow in terms of you've done so much.
What has been one of those years?
Yeah.
You know, I will say it's probably this year. It's been the main thing because the reason I even did all this is because I worked at a startup and it's the hardest thing probably I've ever done, still ever do, because it was just grueling hours, ton of work, really like intensive product. We were creating a food delivery app basically.
Okay.
We were effectively running a food delivery app. That wasn't its purpose, but that's what it kind of turned into. So I was managing people.
Yeah. What did it start out as?
It's the most startup thing ever. Well, the idea was that it was supposed to be like a group ordering app.
Okay.
And so like people in offices, and we did have this version that eventually rolled out, but it started out as like, if you're in the dorms, then someone's leaving the dorms to go get some food.
Okay.
Then they can say that they're going and people can order with them. We'll send the money all through the app and transact it.
Oh,
they can make a little
tip.
Tip.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
But kids were more consumers than users.
Also, no one was.
Yeah. So then we started hiring drivers, and then now I'm managing. Anyway, so it was I was managing 7 campuses at a time, plus a team of growth managers that are managing other campuses. And I'm like, it was a 24/7 job. I lived on the road for 2.5 years. I've traveled to 14 different states or something. There was a period where I was going a new state every week, or a new campus every week. Lived in Virginia for a couple months, which is a cool experience. But anyway, really freaking hard. And I was also working with your friends, which is a blessing and can also be a curse.
Okay.
Because you have, it's obviously fun, and I'm really close still with a lot of the guys that I worked with, but also constrain a lot of relationships, and they did that too because there's no boundaries.
Okay.
Anyway, so fast forward to 2020, and in 2020, I was so burnt out, and COVID hits, and it was the first. I don't have to go to the office all of a sudden. Also, schools, which was one of our major things, no longer in session. The cities, right? We're a food delivery app, and restaurants closed and offices closed, and so the whole thing kind of went sideways. And we were just kind of like, all of a sudden, I just had space to like think.
Yep.
And I realized all that stuff from vector marketing, personal development, how you spend your mornings, goal setting, abandoned all of it. And so that was actually the first time I like woke up. And I was kind of like, what am I like doing? And I remember like I just started going to bed at like 8 o'clock. Or first it was like 9 o'clock. Then it was like 8:30. Then it was like, I went to bed once, the sun was still up. Because I was just like, I want to change this. I want to get up like early. I was waking up at like 4:30. I'd go do hill sprints.
Yep.
And I think that needs to happen where you're so far to the extreme one way that you have to swing to the extreme the other way. And then you'll kind of settle in the middle. Like, just like you, right? You watched 3 weeks of videos or something, right? And then it's like, you probably kind of like swung the other way a little bit and maybe you know, had something similar, but
after I got after a couple of years it swung back the other way. 100%. I got obsessed. They were I was like probably what you were doing in 2018, 2019. I was obsessed with it. Want to know every single nuance, even things that didn't even apply. I wanted to know. So basically I watched thousands of their videos, all of them. Took notes. I had like 8 books at one stage. I just written all through. And I'd watched it for 12 months straight. I went out every morning, every lunchtime, every evening. I even got a job at a female fashion store. And my whole life was that. And it wasn't for that. I was getting cool results, but I just wanted to get better. And I just knew that I could be very sharp socially. So it was the girls, and that was great, but the byproduct was I was getting really good socially.
You mean working at the store?
Just in general, talking to a lot of girls. You know, I'll give you a great example because, you know, a girl might hear this podcast and be like, oh, that's kind of like, ew, like that. It was a different era, by the way. Completely fucking different era that we were talking about. Talking about 2013, 2014 is when I first started this. And it was a different time, 13, 14 years ago. And within that, what I realized was when you had the art of being rejected, you get very sharp. It's kind of like sales now. So it was like, back in the day, the obsession was like, think about it as not like, oh, I want to sleep with all these girls. Like, that was cool and stuff and have great experiences. But I was getting really sharp with the way that I spoke, the way I communicated, and people were noticing as well. I dropped a lot of friends. I got a whole new set of friends. I dropped the routines that I was doing.
What does that mean? Like, when you say you're getting really sharp, like you're getting better at talking to girls. But again, like that's half of what the curriculum was, right? Like, what else is changing?
You start to be able to predict speech patterns. You start to be able to predict conversations. You start to be able to kind of run your own conversations. You get bored until you just be able to make up things like, you know, just like fun games. Like I'd get in a little cab and just like completely make up wizard stories about, you know, I was a real estate agent from New York or something. Put on New York accent and just doing that, you know. I'd be able to like, you know, I was a crocodile hunter from the Northwest, and I'm coming down because we're tracking this one crocodile. You know, it's come all the way down here, and it's on a mission, and we don't know what it's for. Like, I'd make up all these stories, and you're able to put yourself in. It's almost like acting a little bit, but acting in such a way that you're able to immerse yourself and be so present in the moment. There was things that I was able to communicate. I had better relationships with my family. I was able to have better relationships and build new ones that I never had to be scared of meeting new people. See, I wasn't a kid that could make friends very easily. Now it's one of the simplest things I could ever do because I really understood. I was like, what makes these systems and what makes it a step-by-step? How could I follow a system? And then I realized like the way it encompassing social skills and social communication and presenting and all these different things. Unfortunately, and fortunately at the same time, it's a very emotional thing. It's not a very, because when you become too logical, become too stiff, you become in a box, and expression is very free. It's almost a very feminine thing to be able to do. And when you can constrict yourself, and so you're learning all the different dynamics about this just from the art of just sharpening the sword of, if you're not sharp when you talk to a girl or say a conversation or, you know, ask her different questions or keep her entertained and her attention there, just by certain social nuances that are happening, just by the pitch in your voice, just by the intonation, the tonality, just by, you know, you might raise the end of the question, you might raise a down tonality, you might be able to change the subject mid-sentence, even when you're halfway through a question, you might be able to switch it because you know her attention's shifting. All these things are very, very important because they're just, you know, cool on girls, but you could do this when you're meeting different people. You're able to understand and read what this person's intention is, or if they're a liar or a manipulator. And so you can imagine you're building all these skills, and like that's really important.
It's like seeing life in color for the first time.
And so you're like, holy, this is much more than just this. This is cool. This is really fantastic, but you found the white rabbit. You're like, there's a long way down the rabbit hole we can go with here. And that's kind of what I did, and that's why when someone saw my potential, the little prodigy at 20, like at 21, that Owen did, he was like, this kid's got a big future. And now he was exactly right, because 10 years later, I'm still teaching a form of it, a little bit different, obviously, a little bit more in alignment with bettering yourself, becoming a high value man, and be able to get the connections that you want, find the ideal relationship. But it's still a lot of the same principles that came from there as well, from the beginning.
I mean, I want you to talk about the systems thing in a second.
Okay.
But because I think that is like a
huge
key to life. I mean, straight up. If you can think about your life in terms of systems, I think it changes everything.
Yeah.
But I want to know, like, was there like a moment where you realized, because, so far was in a bad place. I found people that had some answers.
Yep.
I started to learn those answers. I had like a moment where I did approach or whatever, kind of opened up some things.
Yep.
But you're still very much like, kind of like learning and applying. I mean, like, what's changed? Are you starting to go out more or whatever? And then my question is, when did you realize, like, oh, I fucking got it?
Okay,
it's like, oh, this is like, I'm changed now.
Yeah, you were like, I got the $1 million mouthpiece. I'm like, I can be there, right? I always think I can always be a real estate agent, because I'm like, I could just talk. What happened was, I think in about a year, in about 11 months. So basically, my claim to fame with this was that the company was so hard to get into that 5 people ever in the history had ever got into the company. Maybe a couple others, when they had this like 5, and they had like 5 others before. So there wasn't that many people. So you didn't just go into this company. And so in about 11 months, I really got my skills pretty good. I was going out 7 days a week. I was going out lunchtime. So I used to say 14 days a week I was going out. And I was just talking to everybody I could see. I just wanted to think. I dropped golf at the time. I was trying to become a professional. And at the time of the breakup, that's when it all went spiraling down. And I was like, okay, communicate every single day. And there wasn't a moment. I just knew. I was like, oh, what's the next step? And I was very into Gary Vaynerchuk was just popping off. Mm-hmm. And he said this line that I think he regrets. He said, get around the sun. And what he meant was get around the sun. And he goes, yeah, like if you wanted to become closer to Diddy, you became his cleaner. That's his line. You could go look it up. It's hilarious. It's a little bit later. But,
Diddy's cleaners are all
he said it a little bit differently. He was like, get around the sun, but this was earlier. And I was like, okay, well, I got to get around the people that are that next level, elite, that are really, really good. I didn't think I was elite. I just thought I wanted to get people that were better than me. Yep. Get around. They know something that I don't know. And so that was the first thought, that I was like, you know what? I'm going to go become this guy's assistant. I'm going to travel with him and learn every single thing. My friends at the time thought I was crazy, bro. They thought I was crazy. Insane.
And this guy is Owen.
This guy that I'm wanting to connect with is the head of the company, Owen Cook.
Yep.
And I was like, everyone thought I was insane. And I'm 21 at the time. And I'm like, yo, let's bankroll this. And so I end up going over they have an event. I go to Miami, Florida, which we are here at the moment. It's kind of full circle.
Yeah.
And I end up, it's kind of funny, we actually had someone here that taught the guys here that I met that first day I came to Miami, a long time ago. And I ended up buying a program that they had, in which they went out with some students. It was an expensive one. And then I tried to kind of prove myself. And the story that a lot of people know about that is that the head guy was talking to a girl, and she was a very beautiful girl. And we found out that she was Miss India. Like, she was beautiful. And I was like, oh, I'll be able to wingman him. And she had her auntie there. And I was like, oh, okay, it doesn't matter. She's young, young, like 22, 23 or something. And, I had to wingman the auntie, and she was a 350-pound hippopotamus. 50-year-old auntie, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it because this guy, like, I want to be around him. Anyways, I remember the auntie trying to kiss me. I'm like, oh, get away from me. Oh, yeah, but we had this conversation after it, and I was like, yo, I would love to work for you. And he was like, yeah, man, yeah, cool. And then, kind of proved myself over the 5 days. Heard nothing back, so I was like, I thought I lost my opportunity. And they were like, yo, come out. We want to see you for a month. And I was like, okay. So I went out there and showed my skills off, and they liked me. And then that wasn't enough. I was like, if I wanted to be, one of these guys, I had to be better. And so I kind of helped the CEO's life a little bit. I organized it a bit better. I was able to structure it. I was able to see where he was losing time and do this, and I was able to insert myself into it. And then I became a linchpin. So there's a book by Seth Godin called Linchpin. It's like make yourself indispensable. Like you are the thing. I think it was out at the time. I'm not sure. Maybe my timeline's a little bit skewed there. But I've read something where make yourself indispensable. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. And so I did. And then they ended up bringing me on and then training me for like a year and a half. And then I was going to become the prodigy, the new person in the company. And it just didn't end up the way that we wanted to. There was a few different discrepancies. I was very young. I was only 21. And the pressure was pretty intense that was being placed on me. And but that didn't stop me from...
What's the pressure like? You got to go and get this many girls' number? Or like, what is that?
It was the business back end. Learning that the products and making courses and the VSLs and the sales, and I wasn't in that world, and I was being put and jammed into that world as well.
Yeah.
And I was just young. I wasn't like the kids today. The kids today, it's just second nature to them.
Yeah.
They know, Claude bot to here, to this, the NAN, and this and that. And boom, there you got to buy the new Mac thing and put it. I'm like, that wasn't. We're talking 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
When I started this, Spotify didn't exist.
Yeah.
We didn't have Spotify. I had to burn CDs in my car to put Ariana Grande or Nicki Minaj or someone else so the girls could listen. But we didn't have that shit, bro. It was fucking... And so the funny thing was that when I went there, it was a great experience, that I was able to put myself around those kind of people, and that was the only kind of thing I had. Who is in the position that I want to be at?
Yeah.
How do I get around them?
Well, that's a great philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious at the time, what was what are you goaling towards? Did you look at these guys and you were like, this lifestyle
Nope.
is awesome and I want to do just like this? Or what were you trying to become?
Just want to get better.
There
was no end goal. I was just better. What better was I just want to have my systems refined. I just want to be better in terms of the efficiency in which I did everything. And I just realized that they knew more than me. So they know something that I don't know. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what that thing is, but I remember just going, I'm going to learn just being around them, just through osmosis. And at that time, if you probably looked at Google Trends, osmosis was a big word. And it was if you don't know what the word is, it's basically being around someone and just learning off just watching them, being around their energies, understanding the way they move through the world.
Yep.
And these were the understandings. I was like, I'm going to look and act and see different people and try to see and move through the world like they did.
Yeah.
There was no big thing like, this is the way to do it. This is the only way. I was just like, I wanted to learn from them.
Yeah. I mean, that's hugely important. It took me a long time to get proper mentors in my life, and I think that part of it has to be you've heard the quote, when the student is ready, the master will appear. That I think is kind of the case for most people, because I sat there for a while and I was like, I need a mentor.
Okay.
And I didn't know where to start, and I was looking around, but I was still working in corporate, and I was still and I always knew I wanted to go and try to entrepreneur and try this stuff. And so I don't think a mentor really produced themselves until I start going. And it wasn't until a year or so down the line I got my first business mentor, and it was the way that it happened is so out of the norm. But really, it's you just see this person and you just you're like, this is just somebody that I'm going to just be following and go after. So I totally get that, and I think it's hugely important.
It's weird how that happens. You can't search for it. It's right time, right place.
Yeah, and I share this just because if anybody watching is asking themselves the same thing, I need to find someone who's going to pick me up and go. It's it actually doesn't work like that at all. You have to go you have to go out, do something that you think you're interested in. You don't really know if it's right. You do it to the nth degree. Yeah. I became an expert at cold email, and it wasn't until it was almost a year into just knowing all of these things about deliverability and all this random stuff. I find this guy on Twitter who happens to check every single box and he's, great dude. He's coming into town next week. Actually, I'm sending
amazing.
We're going to get some dinner and stuff, but it's a crazy, that's how it's for you. You had to sit there and you go through all of this stuff. You became great at it. You were doing it 7 days a week, and it still wasn't even enough, and to get in front of these people, it's you have to actually care enough in a certain arena, and then the expert in that arena, that's how it'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be good. as well too. And that's it. It's not rewarded in today's society as much. But if the guys can think, okay, I just want to be good.
Yeah.
Good doesn't have to promote itself. Like if you're very good, people will know that you're very good.
Yeah.
You still have to promote yourself. You still have to get out there. But eventually the momentum will happen, and you'll get around the right people. If you're very good at what you do, if you give a fuck about the craft as well.
Yeah.
And you will find that the word of mouth just happens. I think word of mouth is going to be huge when you are very good at what you do.
Yeah. So like from a pickup perspective, because I think again a lot of people like the idea of a pickup artist.
Sure.
I don't even know what the image that comes to mind is.
Sure.
Right? And I think maybe it's like mystery, kind of like because I've seen him. He had a show on. I think on he's got like the crazy hat or whatever.
Yeah.
But what were you? You've now. So you went from a place where you were like, I couldn't get one girl.
Sure.
Are you now at a place where you're like, I'm getting, not like today, but like at this point, at this juncture in your life, were you at a place where you're like, okay, I can get like any girl or like whatever, and is that like hole in your stomach filled?
Yeah, for sure. And I would say like now, back in those days, I was that. That was the cool thing, right? And then we've gone to and then you turn into dating coach, and then you turn into what I am now, which is not even like a really like a representation of that anymore. It's completely different.
Yeah.
But back in those days, it was like you got to the point where you could do pretty well. It was a different era back then, and it was okay. I'm gonna have these great experiences with beautiful girls, and it wasn't so much. There wasn't a lot of shame and a lot of guilt like it is now. A lot of like sexual shaming, because it was very, very open era.
Yeah.
And I think now, back then it was just like you could have the pick of you did your best. You had some fun. You did really, really well. It wasn't as if you like that girl get boom, that girl that boom, boom, but you would just put yourself into a thing, and that's why the spiritual element was there, where it was like. You just found yourself being able to talk to very pretty girls, and then you found yourself being very good at attracting them. And when you could attract them, you got a lot of experiences with them. And someone made a TikTok recently, and they said like the more girls you sleep with, the better you get, because you don't care as much. And then that's a very attractive sign to a lot of girls when you don't care. And it's just it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Then it continues on. So that happened, and then when a guy does that for long enough, he understands that there has to be a change as well, and you have to really deepen your connections with the people that you give a fuck about. Well, that's me anyway. Yep. There are other guys out there that still call themselves that from back in the days, and they are still running around, and that's where I think the evolution was a big thing for me. So that era was the pickup guy, then the dating coach guy, and then now really the high performance in terms of building the lifestyle that you want, a lifestyle coach, or building it out, high status, building your social circle, really elevating yourself to a new level. And it takes you out of that mold. And I think what's happening for me is that I was able to attract the right types of girls, very cool, but it wasn't the quality that I wanted. And that was the difference, where I was like, I really want quality people. I really want quality connections. I really want quality girls.
Is that a divergence from maybe their school of thought?
Yeah, massive. Mm-hmm. And it happened because we had this parting of business. Mm-hmm. 2016 broke, we broke the ties, and I now was not that anymore.
Can you talk about why the ties broke?
Yeah. Basically, it was the company at the time, it no longer exists anymore, and they've gone on their separate ways. But the company had, like a HR, has to look after itself and its best interests, and they were investing a lot of money into me, and they thought it was funny that I was with this girl, which they kind of got me with, and it was a great relationship that I was having. But I was 21, and I realized that a lot of the things that I was doing was to get a new relationship. So I was more invested in the relationship side of things than, say, the business. And then they came to a thing where it's like, look, you have to choose between the two.
Getting all girls all the time, or sticking with one.
Yeah, and which it sounds pretty easy, at the time. But I'm like, this is a beautiful girl. And I ended up choosing the girl. Now,
I actually don't like that is not an easy decision, I would say, for a lot of people.
Yeah. And I think I was young, and I think I was 21. Like
Yeah,
I
I
was
think it's a
very
way harder
young.
decision to make, especially at
And
that age.
people were like, why didn't you do that? Bro, best decision of my entire life.
Yeah.
I learned so much from the girl. People don't talk about that. You learn a shit ton from relationships, shit ton. I learned so much from the girl, and I had, you know, it was as if I'd learned everything I needed to learn in that era of my life. And I was able to put a stamp on that and then learn new experiences after that. And that's what changed me from that kind of era of being a pickup dude to now who I am today. I would look at it as the big catalyst was, catalyst being a divergent was the breakup. And then another catalyst was this as well. The being fired technically from this, but a parting of ways. We'll be, you know, polite about it.
Yeah, again, I'm going to say it again. That's not like the option between like, hey, travel the world. You're 21 years old. Go and we want you to get out in front of as many girls as possible to protect the brand of the company.
Yeah, and
versus like stick with one girl.
Yeah,
you know, and after and these are your like mentors, and you're like, no, you know, that is not an easy decision.
It was tough, yeah, and it was a decision that I really put the head of the company in a really hard, tough position, and he didn't want to do it for a long time as well. And that doesn't matter, you know. It's like we all got to move on, and fantastic for me.
Yeah.
You know, I was able to do things, and I look back now. The next couple of years were very rough.
Yeah.
Very rough. Made it work.
Rough
money wise, just life wise. You know, you work for something for so long, so many hours, so many things that it gets stripped away by your people that you look up to the most. So you've got hatred, anger, betrayal, all of these different things.
Yeah.
So you got to work through those. There's a trauma there, and I was lucky enough to be very good at understanding those and be able to work through them.
Yeah, I mean, the way that you pivoted, because you know, I don't really I don't know the RSD guys of the program, and I mean I you know the name Owen Cook, but haven't like, you know, but I followed you, like you've been in my orbit for whatever reason. Wow. And I think it's a testament to what you do differently and what your focus is differently, right? This is not you're not just like doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
In fact, they made you sign a non-compete, you said.
Yeah.
And so, but even then, like after the fact, like it's not like you're just, you know, I don't know what you call it, but like RSD Sam back in action. You know, but you've now got this whole it's a real lifestyle focus. It's more about like, it's not about how do you go, and you talked about this story, like these guys would go and say that you got to do 5 hours or 7 hours in a mall talking to chicks or whatever, and you were like, first of all, what happens when I'm like busy? How do I create a lifestyle where I'm not just, it's not just all about like girls, but I'm also like talking to cooler people, you know, more attractive. Like I just basically, it's a lifestyle design play is now what you've turned this into. So like,
yes.
What was the shift? Like when did you realize like, or how did you realize like this is not what I wanted to do? Did you kind of get this separated from them and you're seeing, okay, this is what I want my life to look like now because I'm, again, directionless.
Yep.
And so I have to pick a course, or what was that about?
Yeah, November 2018 was a big time in my life.
Yeah.
The girl and I were on rocks. It was a bit of a long distance we were doing, and we ended up like parting ways there. I ended up meeting my best friend in walking down the street. He'd been watching my videos, and then I met another guy that'd been watching my videos as well. And then I met a female friend. It was my first female friend ever. So I met 3 friends that I'm still friends with today within a week period of my life. November 2018. It was wild. And in that sort of time, I think the biggest shift had just come before that, which was you know, I went through a real rocky period, 2017, 2018, tried out for university, got a university, had to do all these SATs, worked my ass off for a year to get there, did the SAT 3 times. I had to teach myself English and math again to get to the point that I've now got a scholarship at a university.
Your English was horrible after all.
It was terrible. No, yeah, you know, it was all that writing, and it was like, and I got to the point I got there, and then the day I got there, I got a call from my mom saying she got stage 4 cancer. 25, 26 years old, and I'm like, just dead silent.
This is a lot of life, by the way, in like 6, 7 years.
Yeah, it's a lot of life. I don't stop. I keep moving, and that matured the fuck out of me, like that. Flew home, started taking care of her, taking her to her radiation.
Where were you?
I was in Ohio for university, got the call, flew back to Australia, moved back in with her to look after her, and yeah, terrible time. Yeah, it was really tough, really tough time. Took a job in retail and just worked and helped out with her, and then from there we got her. She survived. She beat it, and she's the strongest woman I will ever know.
I've heard you talk about she had an interesting way of.
Yeah. She didn't ever say she had cancer. I remember there was one time we were at the doctor. She's giving this like folder. She's like scribbling it out with a pen. She's like, I don't have cancer. She's like, it's like Mrs. Matheson, you do. No, I don't.
She was right.
She was great. She did. Yeah. She had
right.
she had the greatest mindset. She would scribble it. Oh, stop it! It's not that. I'm like, mother, you don't have a lung. They took it away. Oh, yeah, I didn't even need it. She was just great like that. She was so good, and yeah, she's the fittest she's ever been now. And I'm like, I'm forever. No one will be stronger than her in that point in time.
It's crazy. There's a guy, Merrick Chernett.
Okay.
Shout out Merrick if he ever sees this, but he is the youngest person to do the Great Race.
Okay.
Which is 7 marathons in 7 countries in 7 consecutive days. And he said the other people running it, you know, they're not like these big, you know, like trail running chads. Like it's like a dude with a missing lung or someone who beat brain cancer. It's like these people who have had these insane things. And I think it has to do with the fact that they, at some level, it just becomes mindset. It's like you know, physicality is definitely there. You have to train a ton, not taking anything away from that. But like 7 marathons in 7 countries is like, that's no longer a physical feat. Like that takes an insane amont of mental resilience.
I'd be a blubbering mess if I felt, I can't fucking, I'd be fucking terrible. It's all over. I'm done. Put me down now. Anyways.
You talk, okay, so part of this, I know part of the course is also, or the curriculum of RST was like, how your words affect your thoughts.
Yep. Yeah.
You see your mom do that.
Yeah.
What, I mean, did that change anything? Or what are your...
Yeah, she was crazy. No, it was just like that. It was just like anything. And then we had like, you know, a time where we needed a lot of money for a certain type of drug for her other stuff to work. It was like $18,000 or something like that. And I'm like, oh God. And then the next day she gets a call from her work. And she's like, oh, we'll figure it out. I don't know how we'll figure it out. And then the next day she gets a call that her work's been, for the last 20 years, has been underpaying her. And it was like $18,700 they owe her. And I was like, dude, I was like, yo, stop. Like, and then she was like, I don't think we're even going to go do it. I didn't believe in it anyway. So we had like, you know, she got some, I'm like, and then she beat that. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, yo. So I get to the point where November 18th, we go back to it. I've had all this shit happen. You know, the girl break up. It's like, I found my friends and so I'm on this trail of like trying to make money as well.
Yeah.
And she's still going, 2018, like it's still going, like the treatment and everything. Like she was on it for a while.
Maybe the only thing more heartbreaking or hard for you is of your mom getting cancer is her rejecting all the treatments for cancer.
Just like my stress levels all over, cortisol spike. Yeah, I'm like, God damn. She's crazy woman. And then, you know, it also pushed me. It was the greatest thing because it pushed me. It was like, how do I make money?
Yeah.
I need money. I need to figure out. And at the time, drop shipping was huge. So I started, my friend was doing that. So I started getting into that.
Because you were in your non-compete. If you're wondering why, like, why didn't Sam just go and, you know, rep his, you know, because he's got a name for himself in the industry.
Yeah.
He was in a non-compete, so he had to go and find a new industry.
I had to find a completely new industry for 5 years.
After you spent all this time.
We had two guys left, and they started their thing, and they got like sued. So it was like, you know, because non-compete is actual agreement, and I was just like, all right, well, let me do something else. And I also wanted to change as a person.
Yeah.
You know, I'd left that identity. I'd had to leave that identity behind. You know, doing speeches in front of thousands of people, and, you know, doing seminars, having people cry in front of you, then to nothing. It was a very culture identity shock that lasted.
Yeah.
That lasted probably 5 years after. Like I was still really wrestling with this idea. And so when we get in there, I move into these guys' house, and it was the first time, like, my friend that I met on the street, he turned into a brother, basically. First time I've had a brother. And he basically hardened me up, and, you know, he was bagging me out like Australians do. And I was like experiencing what it was like to be like a real man, basically. I was like, yo, this guy's helping me. And
what was that? Why was that like a real man experience?
I was a shell from the relationship because it ended up being very, very toxic. I never had a brother, never had anything, and I didn't really have a lot of, you know, after you're the person that saved your life has then fired you. You're in a very interesting position because you're very thankful. You're kind of still hating. You're like bitter.
Yeah.
You don't know what to feel. And so I'm like trying to search for someone that can give me some answers. And I was a bit of a shell. And he was able to give me a lot of answers. But what was cool was that he had a lot of respect for me because he used to watch me. So we had this thing that we were meeting each other on level playing fields. And he was the person that really helped me be able to be like, all right, we're in this money, online money. We're trying to make money. And we're noticing that the economics of the relationship market and the dating market and life in general are shifting. And this was before COVID. We're seeing that shifting.
The economics?
So we're seeing that like money is becoming more of a play with women. But before that, it wasn't as much.
When you say play, what do you mean?
It was becoming more of a factor.
More important to them.
More important.
Yep.
More of a factor that was changing and persuading the markets of the relationship market. And then at that time, we were starting to see that we're going to go out and we're noticing that there's a few different things that are not working properly. And then COVID hit and no one can go out and talk to girls. And the supposed thing that everyone wants to do, you see all the meta guys go, that's the only way now to do it. It's like, in 2020, no one could do that shit.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, well, there's got to be a different system. So we built this system from scratch called the seven pillars of status, it's called. And these pillars were understanding that our life had to be of 10 out of 10 value. We had to be a 10 out of 10. Not just in your ability to talk, but the lifestyle, the money, the portrayal, the friends, the social proof, the Instagram was becoming a big thing as well. All of these different elements, we're like, we're a 2 out of 10. No wonder we're not getting the girl. And so we realized that it just shifted. The whole market had shifted.
You like mapped. So what was like? You were kind of saying like, if we want to achieve this end state, these things need to be in order.
Yeah, there was a subculture that was coming up, which was more lifestyle game.
Yeah,
and it was more you had to get your shit together as a man. Like you can't just be like a brokey and like just nothing.
This is like potentially. This is for some people. It's like, oh, just have a cool. This is really digging into the actual factors of like how to just have a good life that you are excited about.
Yeah,
is effectively it. But it's like if you need the assistance of like the individual steps, like this is the things you can do, which I think is interesting.
So we were like, and around that time there was a few big people that were popping off on Twitter as well. 2019, 2020.
Who are you thinking of?
Tate was on Twitter. Yeah.
Well, there goes the podcast.
Huh?
There goes the podcast.
Like Kate.
Yeah.
So one of the big things was we had a few other different people. We were just noticing the market shifting. And when it was shifting in a way that you as a man had to be, it was like I call it a status delta. It was like a shift. You just had to be better now.
Yeah.
Golf, he shot these scores. Tiger came along. Status delta, status shift. Tiger just raised the bar. McGregor comes in, raises the bar. You're coming in, Steph Curry with his threes, raised the bar on what that is. And we just felt that there was a bar that raised. And we understood that, you can't be like that. What was helping was the understanding of starting business, understanding of online money. Okay, interesting. And we're starting to see that there's a lot of business stuff that can be relatable to your lifestyle. Be able to get around the right types of people that can really help you, get around the right types of girls that you've always wanted in your entire life, get around the really quality women that you could see yourself having kids with and going there. And I was like, okay, well, we can start to build these systems that we're building in a landing page, into a VSL, into all these different, we can relate it to it here. And it's always like, you're building out in e-commerce a funnel, you're building out a product, you're selling this to someone. It's not like you're selling yourself, but you are a product yourself.
Can you draw an example? Because I think a lot of people, I mean, we know that we're kind of in this space, but yeah, give us.
Like example, like if you're doing an e-commerce product and you've got, you got a product, but you have no reviews on it. Someone's going to be like, it's like Amazon. People go to the reviews, they get the one that's got 2 reviews and one that's got 4,000 reviews, right? So if you went there and they were like, what do you think about Johnny? And this girl's like, what do you think about Johnny? And no one knows Johnny. And then she's like, what do you think about Johnny, to another group? And they're like, Johnny's amazing. He's the best guy. You should totally meet him. That's like the Amazon social proof. That's like a social proof of like, she's more likely to go see Johnny. because a lot of people say how much amazing guy he is.
Yeah.
So that's a great example. Or for another one, it's just like a product system. If you meet a lot of, in the steps, you have a lot of people visit a website, a lot of people click the landing page, a lot of people will click the checkout page, a lot of people will purchase. Same thing, if you meet a lot of people, you meet a lot of girls, a lot of those girls will turn into some girls you can go on dates, some of the girls you turn on dates will go on a second dates, and then you'll find, the one that really sticks out. Very simple. So we're starting to see parallels of funnels and systems that you can incorporate into your life. And this is where it was starting to become really, really fun, where it was almost like the productization of you, product to you. Who you are as a person is very attractive to the right types of people when you present yourself correctly. And that was a big thing. Like a lot of people said at that time, you don't have a dating problem, you have a self-marketing problem. You're just not marketing yourself correctly. And that was a great thing around COVID. Whoever marketed themselves properly really, really won. And that allowed us to be like, okay, well, we can't do this thing called, go out there and cold approach. We have to do something different, which was, okay, what are we going to do? So we're going to throw parties. We're not going to be promoters. We're just going to throw parties. We started as board games, started as like, okay, we'll throw a mini party here,
just
a gathering.
Not even parties.
Yeah, events and people's birthdays. And then we throw it just because it's a Thursday, just because it's a Friday, have it at a place. We got lucky. Me and the guy that met on the street, we ended up getting a really nice place in a really good building. And that building through COVID ended up being a very big hub for a lot of people. So we'd have people come through our house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the time. Awesome. And it was super cool. And so that was pivotal. And then at the time, I was doing e-commerce, and I thought, oh, no, I won't do it anymore. I will do some teaching. So I went, the non-compete, got up, put it on the camera, started teaching again.
Got canceled,
yeah, a few times in there. But I realized, this new system is not just like an idea. It's like actually, it's helping guys all around the world.
Yep.
We were like, wow, okay. I was like, wow. And it changed the game, and it started to evolve piece by piece.
Yeah. So the systems thinking, let's touch on it now. I guess I just explain it, right? Because I think this is just a way to think about your life.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'll give my own example to
sure, yeah.
Before yours, but one of the reasons I wanted to start a business was because I didn't feel like I was making enough money, at my job.
Yep.
And I was like, I want to make, millions of dollars or whatever.
Yep.
And I started looking around. I remember reading a bunch of books on budgeting, Tony Robbins' book. He's like, get they have this tax thing you can do, and you put your money here, the S&P, it's always going to compound and all that. And I get in arguments all the time on TikTok about this. But I remember one book by, I think it's Ramit Sethi. I don't remember the name of the book right now, but it's like his main big budgeting book. And it's like the last chapter. He's like, the other way to make more, to get more money is to just make more money.
Yep.
And I started thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, I guess and I started, that first of all changed everything. So I'm no longer saving to get rich. But then I started thinking, okay, so what are my money making systems? And I was like, I'm only making, this much. That's number one, my only system.
Yep.
And it sounds like I don't think it's a very good one. And so then I started thinking about like, okay, what are the systems that people are using to make money?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, start a business is one, investing is one, whatever. But you start to think about it that way. Same thing with girls, right? For it's like, okay, well, how am I meeting girls right now? Mm-hmm. Do I have a good dating system?
Yep.
Or like a good, right? And so, because this is all your domain.
Yes. So with the system, you've got a couple of different ways. You got to look at it like, what your life is like, what it's like right now, what systems you're currently running, because you are running a system, even if it's like nothing. That's your system, doing nothing. And I'm praying and hoping that she comes knocking on the door. Mm-hmm. The Victoria's Secret models are doing door knocking, sales to sales, and she's going to knock on your door and, So you got to look at what system am I doing right now? And most guys are doing just nothing, right? They're just hoping and waiting. Some of them have a different system. We know this to be much, which is go to the nightclub, get obliteratingly drunk. And that's their system. Yep. They go get liquid courage. Other guys are, okay, well, I'm going to join some clubs and meet some people there. Maybe a run club. That's very popular right now. That's their kind of system. And so you got to look at that. It's like, okay, well, which ways are going to complement my life very well? Some people, they can go 5-6 hours and go walking around the mall, and they think that's cool. I'm like, that's great.
Yeah.
Good luck trying to make some money, though. If you got 5-6 hours like that. And back in the day, it was okay. We didn't need money. We didn't need much at all. So you could do that. And now it got more and more, expensive in life and inflation and everything. So then you have to look and like, okay, what can I do with my time that's going to give me the best bang for my buck? And we realized that one of the systems that you could use was, oh, let's throw some parties. Girls are like, hey, can my friend come? And we're like, yeah, sure, of course. So we invite, 5, 10 girls. They bring 5, 5, 10 girls will come with them. And then we'd have a bunch of guys, a bunch of girls, and that would be a great time.
Yeah.
And we were like, wow, okay, this is a system that we could use.
Yeah.
We just run a party. And then we refined it even more. And I even remember we were so broken sometimes, we'd get the big bottle and we'd all pitch in to get it, and then we'd just refill it with other vodka, just to, like the college ways.
That is a classic.
Yeah, everyone's
we would do that with my friend's parents' alcohol when we would go and drink it ourselves.
Wild, they're $250 Dom Perignon or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. And then it was like, okay, well, when COVID happened, obviously a lot of guys jumped on the dating apps, and that was their system. Then we realized there were some systems where you could go online and do content, and now you become very famous, and that's a system that you could get.
Yeah.
And so we realized that everybody's running a system, and you just got to be able to understand what's going to be most benefit for you and what impacted your life the best. And what we realized, especially for myself, was that, okay, one of the things that I could do is not only we developed this 7 pillars of status to kind of gauge where we were value-wise in the world. The more value that we were out of a 70-point system, we had 70 pillars, 7 pillars, and we scored ourselves from 0 to 10. And when we got higher and higher in the pillars, the more value we had, the more better quality girls we had. And one of the things that I noticed very well is that going to places, going to birthday parties, going to all these things was really easy to meet really high quality girls. You're pre-vetted. You're someone that can meet beautiful girls. A lot of the times, the most beautiful girls aren't at the nightclubs anymore after COVID.
Yeah.
They're doing their thing. When you've got Amazon, you've got Prime, Hulu, Netflix, you've got Uber Eats, why would they go out? It's like it's the coldest day in Miami. They're not going to go out tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we realized that. I say we, it was like a collective of guys. We were, trying to figure it out, obviously leading the pack. And we worked it out, especially for myself, that, you have to be running multiple systems all at once. And what was the byproduct? The systems was that, sure, you met beautiful girls. You got around some of the most beautiful. You also got some of the coolest connections. You were able to better your life, and your lifestyle got better as well. So there was multiple different byproducts, and why not make the best life you could ever make as well? And you made a shit ton more money.
And that's a cogent shift from what RSD was like. What was because your end game is like you get to pick a lifestyle and create it, and have all of these things that you want in some level of abundance. Where does the RSD curriculum take you? Where did it take you? Not to speak disparagingly of it or anything, but like
you to a point where it gave you the technical understanding of how to be able to talk to girls, be able to attract them, be able to. Each coach had their own different style as well, and some of them were very logical for the logical mind. Some of them were very emotional and spiritual. It bettered your life in ways that it was like the level 1 to level 2, and then level 2 to level 3, and you were good in there. But it didn't take you to the 6, 7, 8 of guys that really wanted to get to the level where. They were surrounding themselves with celebrities. They were surrounding themselves with the coolest parties, the LA parties, the after parties, the coolest people, being in the know-how of, amazing events. And some people like myself just wanted that lifestyle and wanted to experience what it was like. And, even when I was with RSD, it was 2016, I was really trying to push those. I wanted to go to the weekends after party that he was hosting in Bel Air. I wanted to see what the Kardashians and Jenners were up to. I wanted to go down there and bump into the celebrities and Nightingale. And
why was celebrity big for you?
It was the pinnacle, it was the echelon of where you could take social skills.
Yeah.
And I always said, like, if you could attract a girl with sort of social skills that I learned on the internet, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we were able to do that a couple of times, but we were able to get around some of the coolest people and really have some amazing interactions.
You had a great story about that I think perfectly exemplifies what's different about your program.
My system, and
the other,
sure.
When you did run into a Jenner.
Yeah, I did run into Kendall Jenner. We were at a coffee shop, Alfred's coffee shop in LA.
Just doxed the whole place now.
It's not as good as it once was before. But yeah, they had a spot out, had a chocolate place in the back, and I went in there. I saw Kendall Jenner. I had a dog at the time. She ran up to the back, and then she was playing with it. Oh, what a cute little dog! Da, da, da. And I started talking to her, and it felt, in the video, a lot of them, they like to click like, I got rejected, I got this, it just felt like I was like, no matter what I do, I just can't get this girl. I couldn't even be on her level. Everything that I was trying to do was from a place of not inferiority, but I was just like, this is just not going to work.
You're just not on her level, yeah. You're not.
And she got millions. It's not even the money. It wasn't that. It was the fame. It wasn't that. Like I was talking with a beautiful girl. I didn't. She's a little taller than me. I was okay. I'm not the tallest motherfucker, but I was like, yo, I can't. Her lifestyle. And it wasn't because I was like, oh, I just needed the money, then I get there. I was just like, there will be a way. There was a way to be able to get that.
Yeah.
And I just was nowhere near it. And I felt like my compass was so off as well. And it wasn't like I will do anything to get, like, I wasn't pushing it, but I had that inclination there. And I was like, man, it's tough.
Were you already like, was the program kind of being fleshed out already, or was that like an impetus to it at all?
It was a big moment as well. And I was in a relationship with a girl at the time too, which so I didn't push that as hard as I could. But it was like, whether that relationship was going to continue or not, it was just like I just didn't see myself at their level.
Yeah,
and that sucked. It's the first time that I was like, I believe so heavily in this thing, and it had so many little moments that I was like, sucked the air right out of the room, and I was like,
yeah.
Damn. Okay, so I had to see some nights, and I was like, damn. And I was living we were living in a mansion, $50 million mansion. I was living with a guy that made so much money. It wasn't a thing. We had cars galore. We had people doing rap videos in the pool. It ended up being, after we moved out, it ended up being Meg Thee Stallion's house. And like I was living the lifestyle, and I was like, and I still didn't feel like on her level. Because I knew deep down, like, I wasn't that guy. I just wasn't the guy.
I think that's a perfect way to put it. Is like, how do you become the guy that you? It's like an identity thing,
Yeah.
And there's pieces to it, as you had mentioned.
Yeah,
100%.
Like great examples, like with this culture back in the day, it was like you had to do 50 warm-up sets, and you have to like get your social lubrication, approach all, and do this, and it's great for beginners, and that was just not me at the end. I was just like, yo, it's like, why do I have to warm up being the person that I am? Why not just him in general? And over the years I've had different things, and I'm like, why not I just, like, I've done this so much, why aren't I the guy?
Yeah,
they can just go talk. Like, what is this, like, warming up the personality to be the person that, like, and I just felt like a mask and a facade, and I was like, no, this is not the right style for me.
Yeah,
I'm not him.
Let me ask you a question, because you have mastered social dynamics,
sure,
right? And so that is a muscle or a mask or whatever, like it's a face you can put on, right?
Yep.
You have a set of inputs that you're like, if I do this, I can probably get this out of it. What is, do you feel like with all that, in order to get the things that you want, you're no longer, where do you find a trade-off of not being yourself and getting the things that you think you want? Does that make sense? Like,
so you say it a little bit differently.
Because you know that there's a mask you can put on to get certain things.
Okay, yeah.
Is that you, or is that the mask you're putting on? Do you feel like you're taking anything on and off today?
I think you're always going to have like that on moment. We talk about the on moment, right? You're on.
Of course.
I would say that there is always going to be a little bit like that. When you're in your bedroom, when you're singing in the shower, you're not going to show that to your friend. Like, you've always got a little bit of a little mask. You're with yourself. It's funny that like no one's disgusted with their own self. Because it's like you see everything. You're the only person that sees for 24 hours, right? Yeah. So your image of yourself versus everybody else, you're the only person that sees every single minute away. Pretty much. Yeah. And not even that. You spend 8 hours a day. You spend like 1/4 of your life, 1/3 of your life sleeping. So you don't even see yourself for 1/3 of your life. So of course you're gonna have that little bit of mask. Is there a trade-off for putting that on? And then I think there's a trade-off in like trying to get attraction from someone without being, without showing a little bit of your real self as well. I don't like the whole thing. You've got to present yourself really fucking well. That's why otherwise fucking we're a leaf. and go out. It's like
Adam and Eve it.
you got to present yourself well. I'm not saying like just be yourself. I hate that, right? Because no one knows who they are really at the end of the day. You know, your mommy and daddy's version of you, are you this, are you that? But like, I would say like you got to present yourself well, but you also got to, if you're trying to be someone else and then you get the attraction from people, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a real balance between understanding your flaws socially. When you say, you know, you got to be yourself. Well, a lot of people try to do that. They've got a lot of flaws.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, like when girls are just be yourself, just be this. It's like, no, don't be yourself. That's a terrible version of you. But then you have to balance that with like, if you don't, you're going to suffer.
You're going to be in a mask.
So you have to be able to present yourself in such a way that is still very relatable, very cool, very easy to digest for the other person. And something that, you know, if someone connects with you, you're going to be that. Is the rich guy spending a lot of money? Is that his mask? Why doesn't he just not spend it all and just like use himself? You know, he might wear the Gucci and all this kind of things, but he doesn't have to buy all the crazy things, but he does because he knows that it works. But then he complains about the gold diggers coming in through him. Mm. So this is where you have to get really nitty gritty on like exactly what you're presenting to the world and why you're presenting that.
Yeah.
So if you're presenting a bad image of yourself, you're gonna get. If you don't get any results, you're probably not going to get that. So it's like, okay, where are you going to balance this for you? Because you can't always just be this weird version of yourself, but you can't also be this fake version of yourself as well.
How have you found that balance?
I found the balance by being, I have this great line, you have to be your harshest critic and you have to be your biggest cheerleader. Mm. So you have to be completely confident in executing that you are going to be social. This is what you want. You're going to be charismatic and confident. And then you have to also understand that if it didn't work out, well, there might be some things I have to fine tune as well.
Yeah.
So if someone's like, a great example, if someone's like, oh, I did a really good eye contact. And then if you ever saw it on camera, this motherfucker's like staring like Hannibal Lecter. That's a great analogy. I don't know too much about Hannibal Lecter, but I know exactly the person I'm thinking when I say that.
Yeah, no, it's a good analogy.
And so you're like, when I was doing it, it's like, well, you know, you were. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Oh, well, if I do it any other way, it's like it's not real to me. I'm like, well, don't do it that way, you know? And so a lot of the time we've been conditioned and we've been altered that this is the way that we should do things, when a lot of the time we've never really stepped back and be like, is this the best thing that happens to me, right?
Yeah.
When you believe in one thing, in 6 months or a year time, you might not believe in it. Is that a mask? Which one was a mask? The one you believe in now, the one you believed in before?
Yeah.
One of them has to be. One of them's wrong. You changed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, which one is actually authentically you? And so I say the authentic you is a little bit different than just be yourself. The authentic you underneath is someone that is presenting themselves in a coherent way because they understand that life is sometimes not fair.
Yeah.
That's the authentic. You authentically know that for everything. The authentic you is someone that has good eye contact, that presents themselves, their speech very well, that understands that the world is very attention seeking, and so they might have to stop mid-sentence of asking a question to a girl to change topics or to know a little bit of information for this billionaire. Like we heard Wade talk about that, learning a bit of information about something that you're able to relate with him with. Is that fraud if he learns a bit about real estate so the conversation runs a bit better? Because you don't feel like you're treading water with a very rich person. Is that fake? Is that fraud? No, I think it's very smart of you to do that. I think it's very socially intelligent to be able to do that. Because you know that you want to make your life very easy. Some might say that's mask. Some might say that's a fraud. I say it's just very intelligent for you to be able to have conversations that run really well.
I see it a little bit different. I see it as there's the highest version of yourself. So like you are where you are, right? There's a version of you where you're like, if I could be anything in a snap of my fingers, I might dress a little different. I might act a little bit different. I might have a couple extra things here or there, right? And not just like, oh, I have a yacht out of a Lamborghini or whatever. But like, if you really sat there and you were like, this is the kind of person and attitude I'd like to have and be or whatever, then I think that's the highest version of yourself where you can say, okay, this is what I want to kind of get to.
Yep.
And that's where, when you're thinking about how to present yourself, most people don't sit there and go like, I don't care. I will just dress up as whatever. I'll have like a robe on all the time or something. There's usually a version of you that you can try to reach to.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference right there.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. How do you think the pickup stuff helps or hurts with relationships? Because there's getting the girl, but then I think there's probably an expectation where it's like, okay, cool. Well, now you know how to do that. You'll just keep them attracted forever or whatever.
Yeah. I think the pickup stuff allows you to get really good with your linguistics of how conversations work, because you run a lot of conversations. Your ability to be able to pull a girl versus conversations. You have so many more conversations than you ever have. What they would deem as successes. I would say that the pickup stuff and a lot of these guys, and that's why have gone so far away from the last 10 years, is that they became a caricature of themselves. It became someone that needed the validation more than the results. They needed they were this guy that was obsessed with just game. Girl asks you, what do you do for fun? And they're like, what are they gonna say? Oh, I work at I go to the mall 5 days a week and talk to girls. It's like that's what they're obsessed with. And I understand. I was like that too.
Yeah.
Right. But then I look at them and even though I was like that, it's very kind of contradicting. But I look at them and I'm like, yo, you should have evolved past this. This is great step one stuff. Really, really good step one stuff, because I always think of it as like the limitless pill. At the start he's doing his book, and he's doing, he bangs the girl up the stairs, doing the law, and he tries to get his ex back, and then you see the level he gets to, which is, he's a senator, and he's making his way through politics.
Yeah.
So that's what I see it like. I'm like, okay, how does it affect the relationship point of view? Is a lot of the relationships, the girl doesn't feel like the guy is ever present. He's always trying to game the girl, always trying to get the upper hand, and he's never real. And I think what that does is it doesn't make you real anymore. It makes you a person that prods and pokes, and you're not a real person.
Yeah.
You're this caricature that can get attraction from a girl in one night.
Yeah, its connection is missing.
Yeah. And they suffer with that, and they can't get into relationships, because they're really good at one conversation, one thing. It's like a sales guy. You have the sales guy, a great example, sales guy that runs a one-call high-ticket close versus a proper salesman, like a car salesman or a real estate agent. The way that they sell is very different. The sales, they embody the selling. The guy that's doing the high-ticket, he's like, it's real hard, but they're just antsy, and they're not really salesmen, what I mean? And then you've got the other guys that are probably doing very, very big, huge deals, and they're embodied the person. And I think it's the embodiment versus the caricature of it. The person that can embody it, the guy that becomes, it's his lifestyle, the guy that becomes a very attractive man, he becomes a very cool, he becomes a cool guy. I would say it's a cool guy. Yeah. You got the pickup guys that aren't cool, and then you got the cool guy.
Yeah.
Just gotta become fucking cool.
Yeah. Much. I think that's like when you set a goal of like, this is the person that I want to become.
Yeah.
And then you work towards becoming that, then a lot of times you don't need these like tips and tricks and whatever. Yeah. A lot of it's helpful, or what?
The pickup guy is, what do I have to do to get her attracted? The cool guy is, who do I have to become that attracts them? Which garden do I have to build that they come to me?
Yeah.
Versus, I gotta go out and fucking do how many approaches I have to do?
Yeah.
Wrong mindset, isn't it? It's a completely different mindset. It's the idea of like, it's just, what do I have to do? Like, who am I have to become? And then once I've become that person, how do I just market myself?
That's exactly what your program's foundation is. Yep. And that whole story with your dog and kennel.
Yeah, no, that was, I wasn't the guy.
Right.
I just wasn't. There were so many other moments like that as well that I wasn't him.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of just like him or Himothy Jones, because it's so cringy too. Himothy Jones, I'm him. I always, Gunner's got a song like him. I'm him, or whatever it is. And it's so cringy and so great, because you have to become him. You have to become the guy that just, I realized it was so much bigger than talking to a girl. You have to be good at problem solving. You have to be a guy that could handle situations.
And you should want to do it for you.
Yeah.
Like you should want to become the
Bro,
person.
if you want to become a father or a family man, or you're one day gonna have your wife. You're gonna have. I always think of my grandfather, and I always think of he had his wife. He had the two daughters. He had the dog. He had everything. And this was back in the '60s, and that there was the wife worked. Everything was on him. He had to figure out how he was going to move from this position to that position and not ruin the family. He just became the guy that was him. And whether they say, well, he didn't attract all the guys, like, it doesn't matter. He was a guy that took responsibility, and you just became a man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and I think what we've seen a big shift is people loving this red pill content, going in there. And then obviously shifting and morphing, but people are just searching for that masculine presence. And I think in a depolarized world of masculine and feminine like we're in, it's very hard. Men are searching for that person that can teach them the masculine characteristics.
Absolutely.
And the masculine presence,
Yeah.
without having like this girl yell at you and this, because the world is conditioned to depolarize us all.
Yeah, it's scary too, because that onus is being put on like just whoever has reach. So you get like that. Like streaming culture to me is kind of insane.
Okay.
Because the way I see it is that these are people that are literally outsourcing their social lives.
Yeah.
Like they're getting that itch scratched through a screen. Like it's not enough even just to see like the clips.
Yep.
It's like people will sit and watch someone else living their entire life in real time.
Yeah.
In place of their own.
We talk about the rise of cuckoldry. The idea of cuckoldry is like the guy sitting on the chair,
Yeah.
and watching someone else fuck.
Has there been like a measured rise?
No, not the actual thing, but like the meta glasses.
But yes, yeah.
Looking through someone else's eyes, streaming of watching someone else's life.
Yeah.
These guys are outsourcing their experiences.
Yeah.
And they're living the experience, and someone else is experiencing it.
Yeah.
Which is, to me, cuckoldry. You're
agree.
watching someone else go, and so especially with the rise of meta glasses and all that sort of stuff, it's going to be the POV and all that. You're not living it anymore. These guys are not living.
Yeah.
They think they're experiencing something when they're not.
They're not, and it's normal now. Like I didn't have that at all.
Yeah.
But now I mean, there's probably going to be, there's going to be a wave of pickup artists probably that are. Actually, I know that there are pickup artists that are going out and they're picking up chicks. Probably they're going to start doing it live on stream. And that's going to when you are not forced to go out and do something difficult, and not even just this, right?
Yeah.
Dating aside or whatever, if you are not forced to go out and start a business or forced to go out and make new friends, and you just watch other people do it, and that's enough for you, like it's really dangerous to have that as that's being taken away, right? From your own life.
That's why I think it's good to unplug from that and put yourself into like upper echelon status.
Yeah.
It's like you allow the clowns to watch the circuses, we've gone back to medieval times in like the games are happening. This is the games. This is the new games which are streaming, and this is where you're going to find the players that understand what's happening, which is mass distraction.
Yep.
To a point where what it is like, okay, we're going to push this, which is cool. Okay, that's sorted. This is what we're going to be doing in the back end. And if the people are concentrating on the back end stuff, that's where the real shit's happening. This is where the real world shift is happening as well. And I think with these guys, the biggest thing is to be able to unplug from the distraction.
Yeah.
Which is huge. And because there's a lot of money in the distraction. There's a lot of money to be made in the distraction as well.
And sensationalism, which is
whether it's just a morph. It's from the radio. As I said, video killed the radio star.
Yeah.
Right. And then the VCR, and then you got CDs, and then you got now the internet, and then the internet you got streaming. Streaming killed the YouTube star. Streaming killed the TV star. Yeah. It just continues, and so then we go next one, another rise. I truly believe that towards the end, there's one show I watched. I don't really like this actress that much, but Emma Watson, the Hermione.
Yeah.
She did this movie where she had like a thing like this, and it broadcast her 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, kind of like the Truman Show. And
Okay.
it was like it was like transcendent or something like that. I could probably link it with you, but
Yep.
and she streamed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Jesus.
And it gets to the point that it'll be like that. And it already happened where these guys, the streamers, would do the sleeping.
Yeah, I was going to say there are 30-day streams.
Yeah.
Like, people are doing that. It's
Yeah.
insane.
So I was like, I knew it was always going to happen, and it'll be like the thing to do. And then, it's like anything, like the Waymo, everything the dystopian, what we thought is kind of coming true as well. But they just do it in such a way that they kind of trickle it out a little bit. Like the Waymo did the ad on TikTok a couple of nights ago. I had a look. Ever since Damien's accident, life hasn't been the same. It's these couple wearing some mask, like some COVID mask. And Waymo allows us to be able to, recover our life after the trauma that we suffered, and allow I'm trying to verbatimly say it, allow our like kind of faith in driving again. And they're hopping in the back, and it's the ad to say that it's now safer to allow the driverless cars.
Yeah.
Which is very similar to what the thing has been, which is the automated cars, that theory. And that wasn't that long ago, where it was like, yo, they're going to preach. It's now, in 10 years, 20 years time, it's like, it's too scary to drive. Like, I can't believe humans were driving by themselves. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Or, recently, not even like that long ago, that the government now, I don't know if it's true or not, sometimes they just throw an article out there just to fuck the people, that they're allowed to turn off your car, your
they definitely have the capability. I've seen it happen.
Electric car.
Yeah.
And which was another theory that's why they were pushing the electric, because they could turn it off. And then the next one, with the other one, was like you had that 15-mile radius that the car couldn't go out of there, 15 miles.
Oh, wow.
The mini 15-minute cities, all these different things that you're like, okay, like it's interesting. But then again, it's just like that was always a distraction, It's like, there'll always be something.
Yeah.
There'll always be something.
There's I want to ask something, because I know we should probably wrap here soon. But I wanted to ask about the business of, I guess, what you do now. So for a little bit of context, right? A lot of people don't, first of all, the info product space, coaching space for a lot of people is like completely nebulous.
Okay, yeah.
But also just, I mean, I started my own
Nebulous
business.
meaning up and down? Or?
Like people don't understand what it is, and
for sure.
they've never heard of it, right? And I think it's just would be cool if you're cool talking about like, how does your business operate? What are the different kind of streams and channels, and because I'm just curious too, right? So I have a marketing agency, right, as one of my businesses, and so that for most people they can kind of like wrap their heads around.
Yeah, for sure.
But whenever I talk about info products or coaching, they're just like, where do you? It's like, well, they post some videos, or like, how does it?
For sure.
And you close them on Instagram, or like,
Yeah, no, exactly. I think it was an area that I was like, I was making money, and I was doing all the things, and I never felt like comfortable talking about it, because I was just like, the clients that I had were making, way
more, yeah.
And I was like, well, how the fuck am I, like, when you've been exposed to that, it's really hard to talk about it. Like, I remember this one client, he kicked a Richard like mill across the ground to me, face down, scratched the shit out of it, and it's completely real. And because I said, what watch is that on the ground? He just like, he just kicked it to me. I'm like, fuck, how much money has this guy got? Too much. Anyways, so within the company, you post a lot of content. I mean, it's like anything. You're going to be posting different types of content to hit different types of audience. You have an offer that we do with our business, and the offer is specifically tailored to the ICP that we really have worked hard on. The one that
ICP is ideal client profile.
Yes.
Yep.
Ideal client profile. Ideal person. And the way that we've found that, who do I fucking like to work with? That's pretty much it. Who do I like? No.
Yeah.
What we found is I did a couple of different ways, because I've been doing it for so long. I just knew what would hit, and then I thought, I would do a cohort of different people, see who would make the most progress, do the next cohort, and the next cohort, and then we found out that this particular demographic did really, really well.
Yep.
So I did a little bit differently, where a lot of people are like, test the things, see who resonates and buys. I wanted to get the results first, so results heavy, and then we figured.
Was it perform like they would succeed in the program, or perform like they would close?
They would succeed in the program.
Okay.
Yeah, so they would get the exact relationship life, dating life. They would get the exact Instagram that they wanted. They would get, whatever, because it was a plethora of different things that guys want.
Yeah, what were the cohorts you tested?
Yeah, so cohorts we tested at the start were just like Guys that would come in, I would say what they would like. What do you want out? What makes it a success? And they would do this, and then I would try to implement my system.
Yep.
And then I'd track what they, how long it would take, if they
Yep.
get the result, if they don't get the result. Do it again, do it again, do it again. Do it some free people, do that. Do some paid people, and then from there straight away, free people, nothing. Paid, yes, cool.
Yep.
First of all, okay, people have got to pay. Second of all, you're like, okay, what's the time frame? Can they do this in 2 weeks? Can they do this in 8 months? Can they do this in 2 years? Okay, we figured out what sort of time frame is there. These people did it in this time. Cool. Can we push that? Can we make it look sexy? Can we put the number there even better?
Yeah.
And then from there, it was one of the things. Let me just 55 seconds.
Oh, yep.
Oh no, we lost it. Oh.
Was it off? Just dead?
It's dead. It's okay. And so this one, what we did was, okay, we worked out the offer for the exact clientele, which was, excuse me, this age range. This is the result that they get in this time frame. Very, very simple. It's like, and we didn't do without this, without that. We did a little bit without cold approach, without all these kind of things, without the other thing that was, we villainized the thing that I was against. And from there, we started to get people coming in. I always wanted to do a mentorship of a longer time period, because in the RSD days, it was always 3 days. That's it, 3 days, which is great. You had lots of clients, but I really liked to meet a lot of people because it was in the COVID time. So I was like, well, a lot of times if I help these guys' lives, I'll become friends with them.
Yeah.
And which you become a lot of friends from there. And from there, it worked where I'd do one-on-one calls, and then with these guys, and then that got too intense, so I would do group calls, and then we created the group in itself, and so people are buying the group, they're buying the courses in there, they're buying the access to the information and the real-time changes that are happening in the day-to-day social realm, and so in the social dynamics of 2026, 27, 28 going forward. And from there, that's how we tested a lot of the things. And then in the front end, obviously, you're putting out the content that's getting clicks, you're putting out the content that's converting, whether that's getting lots of views, not many views. You try to work out that. I heard something from one of the TikTokers back in the day, Bryce Hall or something like that. And it was like, your best performing videos are the ones that get 95% less views. They're actually the ones that your audience resonate with.
Yeah.
Because your audience is seeing it. So it made me think about it completely differently. Like, your worst video is actually really good because your core audience is seeing it.
Yeah.
And then you went in there and you had a look, and you're like, your worst performing video is like, it's like 60% of your audience has seen it, your followers. You're like, oh, okay, interesting. And so we put out YouTube videos, you put it out on every single platform, and then you get leads through there.
And so the funnel starts with it's all organic content for you.
Yeah.
Are you running paid at all?
We have run paid. Yeah, we in the past. Every so often we do run paid.
What's on the content? What are kind of the different angles or value props that you're?
On the content, it's like solving, doing Q&A, solving problems, showing the lifestyle. So hitting the pain points of like showing what you're missing out on, hitting the solutions of what sort of problems that you're facing as well, and then also hitting so they get to know your personality as well, because it is a personality driven product as well.
What are the pain points that you're finding are biggest resonators? A couple of them.
Yeah. I'm going to go take a piss.
Oh, do you?
I'm about to piss myself.
Yeah, you do.
Oh my God. I apologize.
Is that still going?
Oh, yeah. I drank too much.
No, I hear you.
It's like an hour and 10, I think.
It's been an hour 10?
Yeah.
I thought it'd been longer, honestly.
That's going to be nice on camera.
We'll get it out in post.
That's it. Told you I had to piss.
I believe you. If I didn't before, I do now.
Huh?
If I didn't before, I do now.
Okay.
Are you good on time?
Yeah, of course.
Cool.
Okay. Okay.
Question was, what are the different pain points you find are resonating with your ICP, the one that seems to be
Yeah, we're
most
actually
engaged?
changing it right now.
Oh, you are?
Actually, yeah. We saw a big shift. Yeah, it's weird. After Charlie Kirk died, we saw a shift. I saw a shift. Yeah, it was really
How's
weird.
that?
I think people are turning a bit more. They're seeing the radicalization of the world,
Yeah.
and they're really just trying to find the right people.
Yeah,
That's it.
I'd agree.
I think they're really trying to find a wife. They're really trying to find a long-term partner. They're really trying to find someone they can share with, and that's not something. That's after seeing a lot of data, but there's also they want the lifestyle. They want to experience the lifestyle and then choose out of the abundance of. I chose the right girl because I met a plethora of different ones, and this is the right one.
Yeah.
That I want to share my life with, and that's different. You know, that hits a lot different. I see Instagram becoming important but less. I see the rise of this AI slop kind of content. I see the status shifting, and so guys are going to want to know what the new status is. But I see what they just want a system that can bring. It's kind of funny. They want a system that can bring predictable results in an unpredictable market.
Yeah.
But there's ways in which you can make it predictable where they're like, okay, I want to do the same things, meet cool people, meet beautiful girls.
Yeah, I want to also, because you've talked about it, obviously a lot of it is centered around dating and whatnot, but there's a whole other side to this as well that I feel like, I mean, it's also like getting around the right people, right? And like, you know, whatever else.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you know, we were talking with one of the other guys about, you know, just in the workforce and in how to deal with HR and how to be able to you know, get, you know, when you're in a social conversation, be able to be confident, charismatic, and get what you want out of every single conversation. How to be able to, you know, get the access to the lives and the rooms that really just do change your life as well. You know, one of the cool things is that I've been able to get around the right people, the right times, that have the right opportunities, hear the right information. Just, you know, like think about the rooms that you could have been in 2015, 2016, talking about Bitcoin.
Yeah. How's that? Has it manifested for you somehow?
Yeah,
in some ways.
Yeah, well, you know, we've had different conversations. I've had different conversations with people at the right time, with the right people that won't give all the information. Just think about, like, you know, what I learned from Owen in working for him, and no wonder I'm successful because I got around the sun, I got around the right person, I heard the right information. Yeah. In a period of time that will never be repeated ever again. Now, would have been nice if you said buy Bitcoin, but you know, that's a different story, right? But I'm sure there was some person out there as well that got around people like that and heard this is the thing, this is the new wave. So if you want to be at the cutting edge, you got to be around the right people, and that is not just doesn't happen by accident anymore. Back in the day, it used to. It used to happen by accident. You'd meet the right people, you might sit in there, you might see them like that, but it doesn't happen anymore like that. They don't want to, as weird as it sounds, the elites don't really want to like share their time with people that are not going to take it seriously as well. Yeah,
there's, you know, one of my buddies always talks about people that hit you up saying, hey, I'll work for you for free.
Yep.
He's like, that's not like exciting for me. That's not the value you think you're giving me, because, and the same thing happened with you, right? Yeah. Because now you're asking me to babysit you.
Yep.
I don't even know if you're any good.
Yeah.
And you know, so you have to provide more value, right? In your case, you went and you started looking for opportunities to improve his schedule, right? Kind of keep back end business, you know, whatever value you could provide that was already something that they needed help with. Yeah. How you insert yourself there.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. But
and then you know, passing tests that they give as well. They give a few tests, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the only way I think you get around the higher value people is you either, I mean, obviously like know someone, but you have to have the value yourself. You have to generate it or create those intersections where when I say have the value yourself, it's more just like you have to be that in that lifestyle as is, right? The same way you probably met any of your friends.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you were in school, whatever, fine, same circles, but
you gotta run the right types of circles, right types of places, and that as we said, intersections. Your life has to intersect with theirs in some way or capacity, and I think a lot of people aren't doing that, and then they want to learn those skills, like how do I actually do those things? How do I build that? If they could take a pill and change their whole social life, they would.
Yeah.
But it's like the Ozempic. It's like these I won't say, but these fat girls get on that, and now of course they're going to be fat again. It's like, you haven't done the systems.
Yeah.
Like you don't have like what you think you've jabbed yourself in there, cool. So you don't have the discipline of the food. You don't have the discipline of like I didn't want to go to the gym, but I did go to the gym.
Yeah. It's
raining, it's pouring. Oh, I could have just skipped. Like they don't have that. They missed out on those. So sometimes you got to go through that gauntlet to be able to get it.
Of the 7 status pillars.
Yeah.
What were the 7 again?
The 7, all 7 of them.
Yep.
It's funny. Everyone talks about things. Yeah, absolutely. No, you got so the big one that's coming out at the moment is like looks maxing. So looks is a big one.
Sure.
Looks is like different, right? So you have social proof, which is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be anywhere between where you're running around. You've got your I should remember all this. Is so funny that I can't remember. Give me 1 second.
You're good.
It's tiring, my boys. Give me a second. So the thing is, I created 2020. It's a long time ago.
When you master them all, it's all become
I just said it. So the 7 pillars that we call it is like so social media is a big one.
Yep.
Social proof, naturalness. So naturalness is kind of like your natural ability to lead. Naturalness in terms of you're the natural. You probably remember some guy. I think he was cool, calm, collected. Everything was just like perfect. Looks, financial freedom. Big one that a lot of guys suffer with is logistics. So they live in the wrong place. They live in the wrong area. They're not in the right rooms. It's hard for them to do everything. And then social proof, which is like the Amazon product with a lot of reference points and reviews and stuff. They're the same there. And then you have game, which is your natural ability to be able to attract different people when you meet them in a short enough time span.
Yeah, and I like that you said people, not just girls, because one of the first conversations we had was you're like, there's a couple principles when it comes to just dealing with people. Yeah. Don't be a taker was like one of your big ones.
Yep.
You want to just talk through that?
Yeah, 100%. I think the biggest thing with that is becoming likable. Yep. No one talks about it. It's so gay of a topic, becoming likable.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is I just remember a great example is like we used to run a party and this guy brought no girls, drank all the alcohol, threw up in the bathroom. And then creeped out girls and they left. So we invited him back to every single party, did we?
Of course.
He was the first person that I actually invited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we got to get him.
Dude, legend. You got to come this weekend.
Yeah. I remember I had a guy. I let him stay in our house. And he brought a girl. Like, I was like, first of all, like, I shouldn't have done that. He brought a girl home after a date.
Yeah.
Spilt wine on the mattress, flipped the mattress over.
Why?
Didn't tell us, and we found like a week and a half later.
Oh. Yeah, brilliant.
No apologies, no nothing. It's just like a taker, right? So you have to be someone that provides value, and that's such a weird terminology, but I'll give you a great example. Yeah. Everyone has natural born value, which is just your energy. Just your outlook in life. For me, what do I, with Owen, cool. He's been the master of game. He knows everything. He knows how to talk to girls for his whole life. Like, what am I going to teach him? But what do I have that he doesn't have? It was youthful energy and a yes attitude.
That I think it's super important because I think a lot of people will hear something like this and they'll go value. Oh, I need to come with a watch and a nice car, and it's rarely ever that. Yep. In fact, like, the people that think that are actually people I'd like to hang out with less because it's like, dude, I don't really like to associate with anyone that I can't enjoy them because at the end of the day, like, it's me and my friends, well, we say all the time, we don't care. Put us in the shittiest dive bar you can find. Yep. Like, we're gonna have a good time because we're around each other, and so you need and so like it's literally like it is mostly, as I've seen it, just good energy. I mean, it's great if you can help with logistics. Love that, right? But like, if you think we're hanging out with you because you have a nice house, like, that's not it.
There's so much more than that. I think a couple of different things. Don't complain. Don't be a complainer. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
Debbie Downer. Don't be a fucking Debbie Downer. be able to provide, like like with the boys that came here in the book that I gave. It took me about an hour and 10 minutes to choose which books. I was in there for a long time, and I thought
Thank you,
about
by
it.
the way.
No, no, everyone was different for every single other person. It wasn't just the same book.
Yeah.
And that was like you could buy that book yourself. Everybody could buy that book, but it's just the thought that went behind it.
Yeah.
The
Thoughtfulness is huge.
Yeah, thoughtfulness.
Some of my strongest relationships, I think, are just kind of back and forth on thoughtful gestures.
Yeah. Just actually taking the time. Like, I don't think, like, gift giving is really easy. It's just like you got to pay attention to the person.
Yeah.
Very, very easy. It doesn't have to be the most richest of the things that, that they've talked about or they've wanted. I think a big thing that within just giving value in per se is, as in the speech that Wade was giving, was being able to have a conversation about the things that they're interested in as well.
Yeah.
So if you know a person's coming to a party, they're interested in something, just learning a little bit about that. That's likableness.
Yeah.
That's huge. I always say, one of the core tenets is learn a little about a lot. You'll be the king of every party you go to.
I have a friend like that. We always joke that it's like a standard conversation with this guy is like he'll just be sitting there and it'll be like, dude, you know what makes me sad? And he's like, and we're like, what? He's like, back in like the Stone Empire, there was a tribe that came down and attacked and banished the king of this because of a dispute that happened between the uncle and the princess of this other tribe. And that just makes me sad, bro. And we're just like, what are you fucking talking about, dude?
Hang on, what?
You're like, dude, the Vikings had this crazy ritual with blah, 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 and it made me, and I just think that's insane. And I'm like, I think you're insane. Like, how did you think of that? Like, where are you right now?
You're like, okay, bro, yeah, fuck. Like,
but like the dude, at some point in every party, there's like a small cohort of people. There's like 2 or 3 people always like orbiting him.
Yeah.
Deep in a passionate conversation about something.
That's so good. I like that. I think some adding some value that's really underrated is humor.
Yeah.
It can be super funny.
Yeah.
How you do that? Watch a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't be funny. Yo, if you watch how they do their timing, like I learned most of my shit from Billy Connolly. You know how many times I use that 8-inch joke from Robin Williams? All of my jokes are from other people. Like
you did it when I said if there was anything you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I'm like, 8 inches. Yeah, I did it before. Yeah. Just like unexpected different things. You can learn the art, comedy of, banana orange tampon. That's the understanding of like when people expect the punchline, you just give them the different one.
Yeah.
That's humor right there.
Yeah.
Like there's systems that you can do it. That can be very, very beneficial. Other beneficial things are, don't be a one-upper in conversations.
Yeah.
Someone said the Italy story, and you're like, "Oh, I've got my Italy story. It's 10 times better."
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know you went out there, but I did this.
That's actually a really calibrated thing.
Yeah.
When somebody's clearly discussing something they're passionate about, you obviously have something to say and you want to say it. If you add on to what they're saying, it makes the conversation a lot smoother. And when it comes your time, they'll be ready to add on with you as well. And
100%. A great thing. Yeah, you said Italy. So, like, did you end up doing that? And they're like, oh no, I didn't. Did you go there? Bang. Yeah, no, I did.
Rocking it.
We didn't do what you did. That sounds really like super cool, super down. I definitely have to do that back. But we did this, and it was, and so it's like a much more seamless way. Like you don't undermine what they said. You don't like interrupt what a lot of people like, unless you have a big talker. But you allow people to finish their sentences. Fuck me, the amount of people that don't do that. I know you can do that in conversation every now and then.
Yeah.
Not like the serial interrupter or the serial like that. And just understanding the vibe. You know what I mean?
When so back to the 7 pillars.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask: is there a priority order? Is there some that you think are like if you had to pick one?
Different countries have different priorities. Yeah, for sure.
Different countries.
Yeah, different countries. So like let's say like a nationalist, like nationalist has masculinity in there. So if you go to Russia, your looks aren't going to be higher because men you don't need to look good. Mm-hmm. You're in minus 30-degree weather. You know what I mean?
I'm not going to see you beyond the fur coat.
But you need to be a man.
Yeah.
You need to have money.
Yep.
That's the 2 things that they're after. Right? If you're in Bali, you don't need any of that shit. You can be, but you need to look good in Bali. You need to be fit. That's a big thing in there. So different places have different priority systems. If you have a country that's by the beach, that looks and physical fitness are going to be a big thing because people just take their shirt off. It's a warm place.
Yep.
If you have a place that's cold, maybe it's intellectual conversation IQ that's quite good because they're going to be talking a lot. So yeah, there's definitely some different places, but everything is very. If you just improve all of them, you'll get better.
When I just think when it comes to lifestyle design, a lot of stuff you talk about.
Yeah.
It's like very common sense if you really think about it. We can go into this level of detail where you've got these pillars and you've got these things, but at the end of the day, you kind of look at it, take a step back, the whole picture of it, of like creating this crazy lifestyle. It's what Grant was talking about this weekend. It's just like you got to do the dope shit that you want to do, right? If you want to go and be in dope rooms, like do dope shit. If you want to go and meet people that are interested in business or something, go do business shit.
Yeah.
And it's really just like manufacturing that. Yeah, it's like that's the punchline right there. I think it's just an interesting thing that humans think that they need an answer, first of all, for most of the time. If they don't have something, I think the rationalization is like, oh, I don't have enough information to do it. When in reality, a lot of times it's just like that action. But
no, massively. I think hit the nail. I always say, like, if you want to meet dope people, and the prerequisite was, okay, like, what sort of dope shit have you done?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, like, I'm going to do dope shit to meet dope people.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. Like, you want to meet, amazing people. And I would say people because we always talk about, like, you don't have to do much. If you want to get around pretty girls, you get around high value guys. You want to get around high value guys, get around pretty girls. Very self-explanatory. Some people might be like, oh, I might be in a relationship. It might be like that. But the singleness and the relationship factor of everything is, if you're in a relationship, go find amazing people.
Yeah.
If you're single, go find the amazing girls and the amazing people.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's like one or the other. I think a lot of people they're shut down of, like, if you're single or if you're in a relationship or any of those kind of different things. So it puts yourself in a position where they don't think it's very valuable. But I would say, like, I said that I had a video that was very sentimental to me. I talked about it with you guys today, which was like, go to the places that you used to work or used to be at where you're in a little bit of a lower position. And one of those places I used to work was the airport. I used to work at the departure gate at Sydney Airport.
Wow.
And I used to work at a female fashion store there. It was called Guess. It was like a men's and women's, but I used to work there. And I would see people, their loved ones, and saying goodbye to them. And it's not like the arrivals where there's happy tears.
Yeah.
There's sad tears.
Yeah, yeah.
And I realized, like, and the sadness, like, all day, every day, I'd be seeing people cry.
Yeah.
It was a weird sensation. And I realized that it was the relationships that just meant everything. It didn't matter how much money, how much this, how much that. It was just the relationships. Whether people were leaving, whether people were going or coming home, or whatever there was. I was like, wow. So I put that video up the other day, and it was just nice to do it, and nice to have. Oh, that was the place I used to spend a lot of time there.
I talked about this in one of my newsletters, where people that I don't think a lot of people know what they actually want.
Okay.
If you want to figure out what you actually want,
I
think it's very simple. You sit. I have an exercise for
Yeah.
you. You write down a list of all the things that you want, right? And
Okay.
you put all your bullshit, like, oh, I want a yacht, I want a fucking Lambo,
Yep.
whatever, right? And then go through and look to subtract everything by asking one question, just saying, if I didn't have this, would my life be materially worse? Would I be less happy every day, right? Not like realistically, right? Is the Lamborghini, for some people, if you love cars, right? That's totally fine.
It's huge, yeah.
But some people might say, like, I want to have, I don't know, like 6 families or something, like, 6 wives or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, realistically, if you had 5, would your life be materially worse? Like, are you, if you died never having a 6th wife, would you go to bed with a regret? Would you go to the grave with a regret, right?
Yeah.
And so do that for every single one of them. And you'll find, at least I found, that list didn't have anything about money.
Okay. Wow.
Like $1 billion. If I didn't have $1 billion, but I had the rest of my list, I'm good. It was, loving partner.
Yeah.
It was success in something that I built in my business, right? It was a healthy body.
Yeah.
There were some things that were like, I do want to travel in luxury.
Okay.
I do want to have really nice dinners and good food. I love fucking eating.
Okay.
Right? But like none of that shit, if I had all of that and I didn't have $1 billion, didn't have $1 million, what the fuck would I need $1 million for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think and it's the same thing with and obviously on that list, loving partner, loving friends, cool friends that I'm excited about and that care about me. And that's the stuff that actually matters, right? And I think what's great about what you do is that, and especially the divergence that you've had from kind of just like, this is all technique, is like, it's a little bit more about the goal. Like, the goal, I asked some of these people, it's like, or I asked about some of the pickup artists now, I'm like, what is the end game? Like, how long, do you do this for? Versus like for you, well, maybe you can answer. Do you have like a lifestyle in mind that you're at or are trying to achieve still, or?
Yeah, it's great. It's a great question. I was looking back at like what you just said. And I was like quickly,
Yeah.
thinking wife, like it doesn't have to be a wife status, but like a
Yeah.
long term
Yeah.
girl, kids,
Mm-hmm.
and this weird one that just came up, which was to build a house
You want to build a house?
with my hands.
Oh, like construct a house yourself.
Yeah, build a house. I think if I died, I would very much. But in high school, I did woodwork. That was my thing. I was like, I love.
So
woodwork.
okay.
So I love
Yeah.
constructing things, and I love building things. And at my family home, I'm building, I'm painting, I'm tearing up shit. Like, I was only there like a couple of weeks back. It's just got the bug back, and I was like, yeah, if I didn't build a house, I think I would be like kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. That's the shelter.
Yeah.
And I was like, everyone's had, my grandfather built a cabin, log cabin
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the back. I'm like, oh, it's some dope shit. I think
Yeah.
I would be like, so yeah, I guess it's like sentimental stuff as well. But going back, what's my ideal lifestyle?
Yeah.
I always say, it is kind of weird. If someone's still doing something, like they're still pushing the envelope of what they're teaching, like
Yeah.
a coach, they haven't fulfilled themselves. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it.
Do you think it would have evolved?
It would have just diminished because they'd finished. Like I even think that with like Tony Robbins or something like that. They're still trying to push for something. There's something there he hasn't got. For me, it's something I haven't got. I think it's like, it's like I've had the loving partners, I've had the beautiful girls, I've had the celebrities, I've had all that. I'm like, what is it? And I think it's like getting to a stage where it's. I guess I've gotten to the stage of like the super yachts and the cool life and the $20,000 bottles and stuff, and it's not that wasn't fulfilling. It was kind of cool. It was fun. It was fun to do. But I think now it's about what can I do? Who can I show the lifestyle to with as well? Like I can see them level up. I can have that. I can, one of the things I had with previous relation was like showing her the world. That was fun to me.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, everyone do everything, but like show you to be able to do it. That was cool.
Yeah.
I was having a great time with that. So that was a cool thing that I wanted to, but also giving back to like the family as well. I'd like to do that. I'd like to, at least with be able to hopefully travel with both parents. Would be really, really cool, and just show them different things as well. I've been everywhere. I'll be able to, to be able to take them and do things with them. People want to retire them and everything like that. That's great, but like, they're you'd want to retire the person, but they're the statistics of someone dying after they retire is pretty fucking high. Just so you know, I don't want to kind of kill your. That's kind of crazy. I remember in Twitter, Brute de Force, he's like a guy that's very polarizing.
Yeah.
Some people like him, some people hate him. He was talking about like this guy, he had his mom and he's stressed out his mom because he took a loan in her name and that she owed all this money. And Brute was talking about like the stress of that actually made her live another 10 years longer. Because he was talking about like trauma and stress as being a good thing, as a thing that gave you purpose and passion.
Something to
And now she was like $100,000 in debt because he's like the shithouse son did that, but now she had like a purpose.
Yeah.
And because before she was so bored with life, and that's why a lot of people would die. I was like, it was just a unique take. I think a fresh take was like, wow, whether it's true or not, it was just unique. I was like, wow. So I like to take them and just share experiences with them. So yeah, I think this is the lifestyle that I would like. But within there's probably connecting, with my passion and my skill. I think that it has been underdeveloped. I always have a joke. I'm like, I'm waiting for the CIA to come knock on my door and be like, you're working with us now. You've got some skills that we need. So I'm like, I'm always thinking like, oh, there'll be some use in the future for a very socially articulate, very acutely aware individual socially.
I think I think a lot of people sit, or the more like starting the business, right, going from 0 to 1.
Yeah.
All that really matters in that moment is like, do I have a skill that I can sell?
Yeah.
But what I'm finding is the more that I've started to like, the bigger the business has gone, the more that it is mostly just dealing with people.
Yep.
It's like most of my day is not coming up. For some people it is, right? But I've just found that it just becomes more and more relevant, right?
Yeah.
Most of my day is talking to different teams, talking to my team, getting on a sales call, dealing with fulfillment partners, like and just being able to be calibrated and get different results from different people. I mean, yeah, it's good that I have some hard skills. It's good to have some hard
Good,
skills,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like that is never going out of style. At the end of the day, like that could just literally be a sales position. If you want to find something to sell, if you don't know what to sell, get good at being, talking to people, being likable,
Yeah, exactly.
and then
100%. Yeah.
and then just go do sales. But like, yeah, that's never going out of style.
Yeah, definitely. It's so applicable, and I think it's going to be in person. It's going to be more and more. If you've got those skills, you're going to be well sought after.
What's the move now with? We've talked a bit about like your funnel, right? The organic content it funnels into it's two things, right?
Yep.
You've got your
Group coaching, and then I have a one-on-one package as well.
right.
Yep.
What is the goal with those? What do we? Do you have any benchmarks you're trying to hit in 2026?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get it to a bit more of a revenue goal where I feel more that the lifestyle is not just being funded by the money that I get from all these people as well. So I'd like to get it to a point where it breaks that kind of like, not break even, but it's just that where we're gaining a lot more than the effort. Like the effort is compounding.
Yeah.
So at the moment it's very much more like, because I'm the hands-on, the technical one, doing a lot, and it's like a lot of time for money. It's still in that. It's still time for money in one area, time for all the back end stuff. But I like to build systems. I like to see it working in 2026. And so that would be more just really having a lot more people involved within the company and taking it to the next level. So that we're niche now, and so I want to get that mainstream factor there, which is social media, which is organic and as well organic paid as well as in person as well.
Yeah,
I think in person is something that not a lot of people are really leveraging.
I think having just hung out this weekend with you and some of the other guys, like there's just little things. I think it hit me today where I was like, there's a lot of like nuance and just stuff that you cannot get over a screen.
Oh yeah, it's hard.
I mean, obviously, just like meeting people is great. That was
the
main reason. That was a big reason I came in and everything. But just a lot of little things as well. And I think you said it before, but events are coming back in a big way.
Yeah, I think they're under leveraged.
Yeah.
So does it say like Gary Vee under leveraged? You want to look for under leveraged space.
Last question for you.
For sure.
You asked about 2026.
Yep.
An hour or so ago, you asked this question about how did you phrase it? What's one thing that you are like getting rid of going into 2026? What was the question? We talked about it.
Fine tune. Like, what do you
fine tuning?
Fine tuning. Yeah.
Yeah. What is something going into 2026 other than the bread?
Okay. Yeah. for the people, I got rid of bread about 2 months ago. No bread. Addicted to bread. Got no bread.
He's so much. You can just see it. He's so much healthier now.
Yeah.
What's something that you're fine tuning in your own life going into 2026? You might be removing from 2025 or previous years.
Yeah. The one thing that I was struggling with, and it's okay for me to say that I'm struggling with certain things,
sure.
because my struggle is like 10x better than any other fucker that's doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm just real harsh with it. I think it was like really forming the identity that the gift that I have as well. So understanding that as time has gone on, it's actually a gift. And it's special, and it's something that a lot of other people want. I just thought it was a cool skill to have. It was like a trick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I realized I was like, holy shit! Like I've been doing this for so long. It's so ingrained. It's so. I think really forming the identity that it's something that is valuable.
Yeah.
In a world that tells us we're not valuable for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
In a world that you deal with, shit people, shit girls, shit life, shit fucking politics and everything like that. It's just like they're dumping so much on you. It's to be able to shine brighter than all that darkness is very different. So that's one of the things going forward. I think a better thing is like being the Superman for a lot of these guys. I don't think I'm doing a good enough job fitness wise. I think that I'm doing pretty well. Don't get me wrong, but running into a couple of buddies that are really, really big here, really, really solid, really dialed in, I realized that my lifestyle wasn't dialing that area in.
Yeah.
And I truly believe in a bit more of a delusional, a bit more of a arrogant way that I have to be the pinnacle and the byproduct for people to respect and really listen to.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the greatest things that a lot of people came through, people were listening to people that they really, that they knew had everything lined up. And so I realized, I was like, okay, well, everything's got to be dialed in. For someone to really respect you, it's like it's got to be dialed in. You've got to be Superman for them.
Yep.
Be like, damn it, how can they do that? And then that's where they're like, yo, they know something that I don't know.
Well, it's like Wade Houston, who spoke this weekend, was talking to us about it's just a couple simple things compounding.
Yep.
A couple simple habits compounding.
Yes.
And I think you'll hopefully find that easy too.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I think so too.
Yeah.
That's what makes me happy.
Love it. So I think it's a good place to end it.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining on the inaugural Dinner Time Conversations podcast. Who knows if the name will stick, but it's here for now.
I like it.
Much appreciated.